How much money do I have to give you to wear?
It's always freezing in here.
How much money would I in St. Joe
to wear a hoodie
for training camp? Okay, and we looked at the forecast for day one of camp. I hate
myself enough of that.
And the temperature is exactly 100 degrees in St. Joe. To get you to wear that quarter zip or pull or whatever you want to call it,
just like a zip up hoodie.
How much money would that take?
BBL stinky.
What is that? What is that?
I guess Bob said that this morning.
What
Dead
is
serious.
that?
No chance. No chance. Honestly, do you want me to die? Are you looking for a new co-host? Because that's what would happen.
I brought the
if you
cold
made
towels
me
last
wear
year.
a hoodie up to camp, I might die.
I brought the cold towels last year. I'll bring those up again. What do they call those, Drew? You name it. I don't remember the brand or whatever. The towels, the green towel thing.
Oh, frog togs.
There you go, frog togs.
You guys, for how hot it's going to be, you're going to need a frog tog.
So that's next week.
Still not sure that's it.
I'm convinced Cody's going to all of a sudden have an impromptu vacation next week and just not show up is what I'm convinced is going to happen, actually.
Gotta get out of town. See y'all later.
Yeah.
Just a little getaway.
Yeah. I
mean, dude, it's going to be 100 degrees. That first day is going to be a bit rocky for us.
Yeah.
You know what? Pretty soon we got some fun stuff planned for training camp, which is always good.
We are excited about that.
They've pretty much put us on the free snow cone for life train up there. So if we need something cold, that's an available option.
We've talked about bringing our own cold tub. Just those cheap ones you buy on Amazon for $150. Just get one of those and have it sitting behind our broadcast booth, and then you can just dive in there whenever you need it.
That sounds awesome. And then that'll also give us the availability to bring it back town. And then if anybody says something stupid, like Patrick Mahomes is the fourth best quarterback in the league, and it gets disproven as being a horrible, as in the online account, freezing cold take, you got to sit in the tub.
Yeah, you're cold
for
take.
a whole segment, you give a bad enough take, your ass has got to go in the tub. I don't care if it's December, you're getting in the tub. You give a horrible take, which
happens all the time.
Oh, constantly. You're good for one or two a year at least, right? Everybody is good for 1 or 2 a year.
We'll see you guys up in St. Joe a week from today for the first day of Chiefs training camp as well. But we'll get to Trey Smith here in just a bit as we are counting down till 2 o'clock. Of course, the deadline to get a long-term deal done this afternoon. Still no word on if that's going to happen or not. We'll get there in a little bit. We'll hear from Ian Rappaport as well. His thoughts on a possible deal for the Chiefs right guard. But last night, home run derby, what did you guys think? I felt like it dragged a little bit at times. It had some moments. Obviously, we'll get to that. I thought overall, once you switched to ESPN2, if you didn't, then you missed out because it was way more enjoyable to watch on ESPN2. ESPN, they had the split screen going, Cody, and the right side of the screen, the camera operator, it'd be like if you just also let one of your kids all of a sudden decide to start trying to follow the baseball and then zoom in really strongly for a second and then pull the camera back out as well. It was awful. ESPN2 made it a little more enjoyable to watch. I just felt like it dragged on a bit. The only two parts that I actually think I'll remember about the entire home run derby, if we fast forward a couple months from now, one is Jazz Chisholm almost getting skunked during the home run derby with only 3 home runs last night, which was great. And then,
honestly, even though there's a lot of fun stuff, easily my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Watching Jazz Chisholm fail brought me so much personal joy because every time you pick a fight with Royals fandom and fans or players, you do horribly in the home run derby. And it just seems to be a theme, and I love it.
Yeah.
It brought back nice nostalgic memories of booing Cano.
Yeah. So that was like the first moment, all right, here we go. Now it's heating up a little bit. We got Cano's whiffing, and then in post game he's saying, I didn't want to screw up my swing for the second half. Well, then don't participate in the home run derby, dude. If that was your concern of why you failed and only hit 3 home runs. So I enjoyed watching Chisholm struggle. And then the very end of the night, the finals, Caminero and Cal Raleigh, of course, ended up winning. But Caminero had a home run robbed by a kid. Now, they ended up reviewing it, and they ended up giving him the home run. But that was one of the other great parts. How about that kid? A moment he'll never forget. I
brag about it for the rest of my life.
He's obviously not supposed to do that, but you know what? Shoot your shot. And he did. He robbed Caminero of a home run. And if you're a kid that's out there and you could actually rob a home run for a big leaguer, 1, do it. 2, it should count as an out. Right? It should count as an out.
So it seems like it seemed like a good 50-50 split. Of people being like, hey, man, you can't do that. You know, it's a home run derby. You got to let him hit home runs. I'm like, are you nuts? If a child robs your home run in a home run derby, no deal. Hit it 5 feet further. It's hard for major league players to rob home runs. So if they rob it, it just is what it is. But, I also think that if they Jose Canseco it should count. So I'll give you both. Goes up the top of a dome of a kid and it goes over the fence. I'm willing to give you the home run. I don't think it should count if you rob it. And it's just fun because that kid gets to live in that moment for the rest of his life. He gets to brag about it for the rest of his life. All the things that make that a lot of fun, at least on that end, I'm totally for, and everything else in between. Looking up replay to give it
it's
back
hilarious.
to him.
Like Fernando Tatis and his other friends and everything were like, "Hey, they were doing the replay review thing, that we see for NBA games and college games too much and stuff like that." But this is how it sounded on the broadcast. By the way, the home run being robbed.
Junior line shot.
Got a chance. Oh, he's
No, okay, that wasn't the full clip, I don't think, Drew. But that was a funny moment though that happened last night. The other part, what'd you make of the intro? So they had Pat McAfee, who of course works for ESPN, doing the intros with his co-host. Did you enjoy that? Where are you at on that whole thing? Here's what for those that didn't remember, this is the intro. This is the announcement for Cal Raleigh, whose nickname is Big Dumper, which is absolutely incredible.
hailing from Halloween, North Carolina. A man who's doing something that no catcher has ever done in the history of the sport, with the fattest ass in all of professional sports.
And leading the big leagues with 38 homers so far.
Ladies and gentlemen, Big Dumper Cal Raleigh.
So that was the intros last night.
So
what did you make of that?
So this is going to come up. Oh, man.
Oh, you're about to be a hater. Go ahead. You're about to be a hater.
And I know that I'm going to be in the minority because he has a very, very, very incredibly popular show. I'd like to be able to. All I'm asking in this world is not that Pat McAfee does his show or that parts of it don't work or any of these other things. I would like to have the option to turn on my TV and not see Pat McAfee. And I don't think that that's an available option to me right now.
So it's Pat McAfee overload for you.
I'm cooked.
Okay.
I'm done. It's just, it's like, it's being force-fed to me too much. I need a Pat McAfee break. All I'm saying is, like, I'm getting so much of that. It doesn't matter what the content or the feed is. I feel like it's close to entering my non-sports content. It's, like, so frequent. So, like, I could just use a little break from the Pat McAfee content other than that. The broadcast itself, the one thing I'll say is, and I know it's a little bit slow in the home run derby part. I honestly think, though, it just works. Watching people hit home runs is fun. Watching them put the ball 500 feet over the fence, they don't have to tinker and play with this. It's a fun format, kind of no matter what. The end is always fun once they finally reduce it. If they simply just took it from 8 contestants to 6, I think it'd be about perfect, honestly, other than they always change the rules on the bonus home runs or that stuff. Watching people hit home runs is entertaining, especially when they hit him like crazy far or fast or any of the other stuff.
You know, the home run derby is great. I just think the regular ESPN broadcast was poor because of how they did the split screen with the camera angles. And I thought you need to switch over to ESPN2 for the better broadcast of it because it was very hard to watch. But the actual concept of the home run derby, I think, is phenomenal. You know, they maybe can tweak a few things like they have a few times over the years. But overall, I liked it. Going back to what you said about Pat McAfee. Look, he's on a heater right now, man. He is the hottest thing in sports media right now and in personality. He's very, very successful, very, very good at what he does.
So I got fatigue.
I understand what you're saying. He's on everything possible. But right now, this is his time. This is like, by the way, this can end very quickly as well. But this right now, ESPN has invested heavily in him. They're going to showcase him throughout many, many things. And you know, that last night, the intro thing, there's other things that they've had him do that I think would be more annoying than, like, this is an intro for the home run derby. It's perfect for him. I mean, that's fine. In fact, I would argue that I would rather have him just done the intro. I didn't need his co-host doing the intro with him. Just give me Pat McAfee, please.
That felt like it was kind of slowing things down a little.
I don't know who that is. Just let Pat McAfee, let Pat McAfee do the intro, please.
Yeah, no, I'm with you at least on that end. Again, it's just like, I don't think that this is like unique. I'm sure that people have said this about Stephen A. or Skip Bayless or any of the other like analysts or people that you're like, okay, I get it. You got them on every single program on the planet, and I know why they do it. It's not even that. Like to the point over on Twitch, McAfee has the audience that every single sports wants.
Yeah.
I
totally get why he's on there.
To 45 men, like I understand. I know why they do it. It's not that, but I can also just be like, fatigue.
He's also perfect for College Game Day. Would you agree? For that type of show?
I don't watch College Game Day. Okay. It's like the one.
I'm shocked. This is an interesting heel turn on your part. Usually you're trying to be like, I'm fun and all this, but you're hating on the fun guy. This is interesting.
It's not, again, it's not like, I'm not even saying like, get rid of your shtick.
Yeah.
Don't be who you are. It's not that. It's not even like I don't think parts of it work. It's just any time. I'm sure that this is how people feel about like Travis Kelce now or whatever, any of the outside fans of the other stuff. I mean, I just can't put on a television program of any kind and not get some Pat McAfee. That's all. That's all. That's all it is.
Well,
Nothing else.
I think like two of their highest paid employees are Stephen A. Smith and probably Pat McAfee at this point in time. I guess Scott Van Pelt probably is the answer to number 2, but those guys are going to be featured more.
Yeah.
They're getting the biggest checks at the network.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith is everywhere as well. He's making $20 million a year.
Well, look,
that's how it works.
And sometimes, and I know that like this goes back to like the utopian society part of it, and I understand, but like the money that comes with this, like I also like, it's like you don't have to take every check. Like ESPN's going to have you do these things. That's a little bit different. Like, but if you're Kirk Herbstreit, you'd be better at some things if you did less of the other things. Kirk, you don't have to take every check. Just reduce the schedule a little bit. Be great at what you're great at. You don't have to. And what you're saying is like, well, this might be your moment.
These are like in sports media right this second. If we were to list like the 5, like biggest names / on a heater right now, Pat McAfee, Stephen A. Smith, Kirk Herbstreit are like 3 of the top 5.
Yeah, it's like Ryan Seacrest. You didn't have to have Wheel of Fortune.
But why? But sure, why not? Why not? If someone wants to write you another $5 million check, you're not turning it down.
And look, everybody's a little bit different and all those things. And currently, I have nowhere close to $5 million, so I have to take the check. There's no doubt about it. There is an amount of money, I guarantee you, there's an amount of money. If I've earned $100 million, I don't need the $5 million check. I would pass on some checks. I know that personally that I would. That mean other people have to or do, but there is an amount of money in which I'm good. And I don't need the extra check to do that. That's all. It's small. But that's not even the big part of the thing. By the way, I did bet on Cal Raleigh, which was nice.
Yeah.
I can't believe how close I was to losing it. The 2 bets I made last night were Cal Raleigh to win it and Britt Rooker to make the final, because you and I were talking about that, and I thought I could get some good odds on just him to make the final. I was going to lose one of the 2 because they were tied for 4th place after the first round of home runs. Can you believe that they decided it based on just a StatCast number? They decided it by an inch. That's a wild way to do it. Just give me the swing off.
Yeah, there's no way that that's accurate, like to that degree, right? The margin of error, if you will, of StatCast, there's no way it goes down to like 1 inch. No way. They should have just done a swing off. One more swing for each one of them, one more pitch for each one of them, and whoever hits that one ball the furthest at that point in time moves on to the next round. That's what it should have been. It's good for Cal Raleigh, obviously, and he obviously destroyed there in the finals. But yeah, I think it was pretty wild that they let StatCast, which there's no way it gets down to 1 inch on StatCast, but that's how they determined it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it. I know, but like you're already doing shootout. So just do 3 swings and do shootout.
Right.
Like, I mean, you're actively doing the format that we're asking you to continue doing in case there's a tie. Why not just do it? I saw Vinny joking about it last night. He was just having a good old time over on Twitter last night. Vinny Pasquantino was doing a great job.
That was somebody that hadn't been on Twitter in months and was like, you know what, this is a ton of fun, and I'm just going to be a fan. And Vinny's commentary was terrific last night on social. That's why he went viral on every ESPN, Sports Illustrated, and MLB's Twitter account were screenshotting his tweets and making them go viral and everything as well. He was pretty funny with some of the things.
What was your favorite one last night? I think it's a tie between the one where he makes fun of Cal Raleigh and he's like, oh, look at me, I can hit from both sides of the plate.
The one I thought was funny is when he admitted that on the mound visits when Freddie Fermin or Salvi go out there and talk to Angel Zerpa or Steven Cruz, and they're speaking all solely Spanish. And he's like, I don't know what the hell I'm paraphrasing now, but basically, I don't know what the hell they're saying, and I just say vamos at the end, and that's it.
I just say vamo, and then I feel like I've contributed and moved on with my life. I don't know why that's so funny. He's like, sometimes I walk up there when it's Angel Zerpa and Salvador Perez and Michael all talking, and I don't know what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's
great. That's great.
He was really good last night as well. But yeah, honestly, the product still works. Home Run Derby it's the best all-star event out of any of the all-star games of the major professional sports that exist in this country. It just is. It's better than the slam dunk contest because they still do get stars or stars of the time to participate in it. That's why it's better than the slam dunk contest, because as we pointed out the other day, the slam dunk contest is won every year by some guy named Mac McClung. And we don't know who the hell they are, or they're not even regular NBA players, and it doesn't matter. They still get, like Cal Raleigh leads Major League Baseball in home runs. He then wins the Home Run Derby. Just because he's not Shohei Ohtani, who has also participated in the Home Run Derby, doesn't mean that it doesn't work. The format is still, I think, stellar. Like, just watch people slug homers. It works.
Yeah, they just got to figure out the camera stuff a little bit more moving forward. That's all. I just thought the main ESPN broadcast was a little rough. Yeah, and Carl Ravitch, I don't know, like, we say you get tired of Berman back. Yeah,
I didn't want that.
But Carl Ravitch also, like, a little low energy for me. Low energy.
Can we get a cross-board? Can I get Gus Johnson on a Home Run Derby call? Can we just get, or can we, like the call, bang, as he's.
That might be much after 100, 200 home runs.
If you don't want Chris Berman, then I feel like Gus Johnson would be wild.
Yeah, that's a good point, Drew.
I don't know.
It sounds cool with one, but it might be a lot after 200 homers.
I'm not sure. I also think it's actually tough to commentate. Like, I think because after a while, it's like home run. Like, at some point, you've used most phrases to describe, my gosh, I can't believe that went 485 feet, and then the next home run's 480 feet. And how many times can you keep doing that? I think it is probably tougher than you think. That's why they mix in the interviews and stuff during the broadcast. And this year they did it during Jazz Chisholm's, which was perfect because they knew he wasn't going to hit any home runs.
Although I'll never forgive them for how much they interviewed during the Salvi one. You can put interviews in. You don't have to completely ignore someone having the second highest total in the first round of a Home Run Derby. Whatever. Can I say that I am as confident as I have been about the Trey Smith contract up to this point? Now that it's the day of Gold, not feeling so good.
You're wavering? You're wavering?
I'm absolutely wavering. You're not wavering? No one else is wavering?
No.
We're less than 5 hours away from the deadline now. I heard Ian Rappaport talk about it yesterday, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm starting to grow a little bit concerned. He was talking about, like, it might happen, it might not. I'm like, I don't like hearing that. I don't like the it may or may not happen part of this contract now.
Well, let's hear what Ian Rappaport had to say, and then obviously got some thoughts on it.
Either way, Trey Smith, one of the best guards in the NFL, is going to be a very rich man. Either way, he is going to be the highest paid guard in the NFL. It's really just a question of, does he get that multi-year to lock him up, to give him some financial security, to give the Chiefs some salary cap breathing room? Of course, it would help much more breathing room on a multi-year deal than on the 1 year, $23 million tag, where you have to take all of it. The two sides have been in communication. There have been negotiations. We do not know right now if a deal is going to get done, but at least as of this moment, it is a possibility. But I think either way, Trey Smith is going to be more than fine this year and for years to come.
So that was Rappaport. We do know, of course, he signed the franchise tag. This is not a question, is Trey Smith playing for the Chiefs in 2025? Is he going to hold out? That's not the debate here whatsoever. It's just whether or not they get a long-term deal done. My faith and confidence, Cody, in it getting done is solely based off of, like, I think this organization, when it comes to moves in the offseason with guys that have been in their organization and are in need of a contract extension, they've usually figured it out. And even the Chris Jones thing, they eventually figured it out. And I'm basing it off of, I don't think they would whiff on this as much as a whiff as I think it would be if they don't get it done. You're like, what are you talking about? He's going to play this year. Because I wouldn't have traded Joe Thuney if I knew that I couldn't get this deal done. And so if we're sitting here after the show, because the deadline's at, 2 o'clock, tomorrow I can promise you, if the Chiefs don't get a deal done, I will say it was a massive mistake that they didn't get the deal done, because you trade away Joe Thuney and you don't get a Trey Smith contract extension done. Doesn't make any sense to me. You have to get that done. And then, as we've discussed, the trickle-down effect and how difficult it means the Trent McDuffie extension is and the timeline on that. So that's why
future cap years,
my confidence in it getting done, Cody, is strictly based off of, like, I don't think they're going to screw this up. But we'll see. Deadline spur action. They got a couple more hours to go.
The thing about it is, this seems like the easiest deal on paper to get done ever. The number's been set. You know what the number is. You knew what the number was when you let Joe Thuney go. Like, none of this is a mystery. There's not, hey, I got to make him How close can we get to Aaron Donald and not get? It's not as complicated as a Chris Jones one. This one seems very cut and dry from the contract perspective. I just didn't think it was coming up to the very last part of the deadline. And as much as to this point, the confidence comes from the idea that I know Trey Smith really wants to be here, and the Chiefs want Trey Smith to be here because every move they've made has created the opportunity for Trey Smith to be here.
Right.
If it doesn't get done, like you said, some of these long-term deals you maybe can't get done now. It affects, he gets more expensive next year. That's just how contracts work. You can't even be guaranteed he'll be on your roster next year. In addition to, the thing about this is like as simple as it is. If it costs you an extra $2 million a year, which is not out of the question, if it's a 4-year deal, you've now cost yourself $8 million in cap space over 4 years. I know that doesn't sound like a lot. That's not nothing. That's players that will assist you, or that's deals that can be made. I don't understand why this deal isn't done yet. And Rapport's are like, well, he'll be rich either way. That's the thing that gives me less confidence. I told you from the beginning, I don't think Trey Smith actually minds playing on the franchise tag. Sometimes players hate it. Sometimes players aren't looking forward to. Sometimes they hold out because they don't want to. I don't think that's the case with Trey Smith. I think he's happy to just take his $23.4 million to the bank and play on it if he has to.
It's a contract for 1 year right now that already makes him the highest paid guard in franchise or NFL history. I'm sorry. So, yes, I hear what you're saying. I still think based on where he was drafted in the 6th round, you want to lock in as much money as possible. And if you sign a deal today, let's say it's 4 years. I don't know if it'll be 5. Let's say it's 4 years. That's what he wants. The Chiefs probably want 5, not 4. You know, and let's say what do we think the guarantees are on that deal?
Oh, man.
My point being is like that's why I understand what you're saying, that like he's fine playing on this if he has to. Sure. But there's the injury risk, right? If you get through the season healthy, then yes, the number goes up next offseason.
And play well,
and all of that. But there's also the risk, if all of a sudden, you tear an ACL, well, all right, great, you got your $24 million or whatever, $23 million, but you
that might be it for what you earn.
Correct. And so that's what's tough. And I understand like people say, oh, guard's replaceable, but you're a franchise right now that other than center, has nothing locked in long-term. We hope that they found their left tackle, the future in Josh Simmons, but that's still a question. Left guard is definitely a question heading into the season. Right tackle, next year you probably have a different right tackle. I don't know anybody that truly thinks Jawan Taylor is playing beyond this year in Kansas City due to the contract.
I don't.
So I would like to have center and right guard locked up. And potentially by the end of this year, if the left tackle works out with Simmons, have my left tackle, my center, and my right guard locked up for the next 4 years. That's what you want. Otherwise, you go into February of next year, and if Trey Smith doesn't sign this deal today, you would only have Creed Humphrey. Maybe you have a conclusion on Josh Simmons by the end of the season. And then you would have a left guard, a right guard, and a right tackle potentially all up in the air again.
Yeah, you want to go right back to rebuilding an entire offensive line for what? The 5th consecutive season? This is the problem with getting the long-term deal done as it relates to the contract. People are like, well, he's not guaranteed money next year. How much more is he going to be guaranteed? As of right now, the highest in total guarantees is $63 million for Robert Hunt, fully guaranteed $44 million. Trey Smith, by signing the franchise tag tenure, already gets $23 million fully guaranteed. It's not crazy.
Yep.
He plays by 1. He's not getting shortchanged that much. Even if he suffered a major injury, he would still likely make up the gap between that and there. There is no pressure, in my opinion, on Trey Smith to sign this franchise tag. Or to not, I'm sorry, he's already signed it.
Yes.
To not play under it if he doesn't get the deal that he wants. A lot of this boils down to
I'm not worried about him playing in 2025. He's absolutely
not that.
playing.
I'm just saying, I don't think you should fear it the way some players fear it. I understand it for a lot of players and their circumstances. And if he had an injury history, I would say it. The thing he came in the league with that, and then it was never a thing. Ever again. It's never been brought up other than to say he had it and the Chiefs got to steal and relate to it. He's never missed a game for it. He's a healthy player. He stayed a healthy player. So like that part of it always gets me. I just hope we're not waiting I hope we're not here at 1:55 today and we're like, well, still no deal. Good luck on the drive. See you later.
We will.
Because I'm hoping we have it settled by then.
We'll have Matt Verderame join us from Sports Illustrated coming up at 11:30. We'll definitely keep an eye on this throughout the show today. If there's any new updates, definitely we'll bring them live on the show today as we keep an eye on Trey Smith and the Chiefs and whether or not a long-term deal gets done by this afternoon's deadline. Up next, though, let's talk some Royals baseball with the general manager of the Royals, JJ Picollo. A lot to get into with him. The draft, obviously a couple weeks from the trade deadline. That's coming up here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30.
We need to nip this in the bud. We need to
nip what in the bud?
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5, The Fan.
The Outlaws are coming. Get ready for the electrifying Show Me Shootout Truck and Tractor Pull Saturday, July 19th at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. 11 elite classes pulling on 2 tracks, featuring diesel pickups and semis battling it out for supremacy. Tickets starting at $20 at the gate. The Show Me Shootout Truck and Tractor Pull, July 19th at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. Gates open at 4 p.m. and the action starts at 7 p.m. Check out Show Me Shootout Warrensburg, Missouri on Facebook for details.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified pre-owned vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months, plus a $200 gas card with purchase. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
When you buy from any of the Balderson Auto Group dealerships, you're getting the support from all of our dealerships.
Like our 100 service-based collision and detail centers.
And our free exclusive lifetime warranty. No other auto group gives you that.
From north, central, south, the Balderson Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
Go to bagkc.com.
It's not too late to enjoy your summer with a new or improved deck. Go to PowellExteriorsKC.com to schedule a consultation today. Get your free estimate now, and you could be enjoying your new deck or patio in a matter of weeks. You are one click away from your best summer ever.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
GiveMeTheVin.com wants to buy your car, whether it's your daily driver, pickup, SUV, exotic, or classic. Now we're even better with the GiveMeTheVin.com big cash giveaway. Win $25,000 in cash every month to sell us your car to increase your odds of winning. No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. We've got a huge variety of metals in stock, and we cut to size, fast. Bottom line, we get it done fast, so you get it done fast. Doesn't get easier than that. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store or buy online at metalsupermarkets.com.
DQ presents How to Make Your Summer Take Flight. Just head into DQ for a new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat. Treat your inner hero to an epic mix of sugar cookie dough, sprinkles, and cake batter flavor. Blend it all with legendary DQ soft serve, and it's enough to tempt Superman himself. Fly into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat before it's gone. And don't miss Superman, only in theaters July 11th. DQ, happy tastes good. Only at participating locations.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us on a Tuesday. We're just getting started here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Reminder, coming up in about an hour from now, we'll talk with Matt Verderame for Sports Illustrated. We'll get the latest on Trey Smith's potential deal by this afternoon's deadline. Remember, the Chiefs do have to get a deal done with Trey Smith by 2 o'clock today if they want to sign him long-term. Otherwise, Trey Smith will be playing on the franchise tag here in 2025. But let's continue talking some Royals baseball and obviously baseball in general after the All-Star Home Run Derby last night, All-Star game this evening. We welcome in the general manager of the Kansas City Royals, JJ Picollo, who joins us every couple of weeks. I know you guys have had a really, really busy couple of days, draft wrapping up yesterday. Did you get a chance at all to sit back a little bit and watch the Home Run Derby?
Yeah, we watched it a little bit as we were finishing up the night in our draft room, and then by the time I got home, it was the semifinals. Got a chance to watch the semifinals and the finals. It's pretty amazing to watch those guys get in a groove and see how far they can hit baseballs. It's pretty scary, but fun to watch. I know the fans really enjoy that one.
We're biased, obviously. Last year's was way more entertaining, you know? Last year's a little more entertaining having Bobby Witt Jr. in it.
Yeah. No, I was watching with my wife, and we were talking about that very thing. You know, that amazing run he went on at the end and almost won it. Just come up, a couple inches short. I think it was to tie it up. But yeah, it's more fun when you got your own guys in there, no doubt.
We were watching last night because Vinny was live tweeting during the entire thing. Our favorite tweet of the entire night. He was talking about sometimes he goes to the mound when it's Salvador Perez and Angel Zerpa and Maikel Garcia. He's like, they're talking Spanish, and I'm not really sure what they're saying, but I just say vamos and then just say I've been a part of it. How is your Spanish, JJ? I was curious, people around baseball, how's yours?
Very, very elementary. I pick up on a little bit. There was a time when I went to the Dominican Republic a lot more than I do now, and being there for a week to 10 days, by the end I could, habla a little bit, but certainly not to the level that I could communicate without having somebody next to me.
What's it like, though, seeing 4 of your guys there at the All-Star game? Maikel, I know that was a player fans were really bummed initially to not see get in, and then obviously ultimately he gets there, and I saw some quotes yesterday, and it seems like how genuinely happy he is and proud of himself he is that he's in this thing.
Happy for all of those guys. I mean, it's 2 of them. It's their first go around in the All-Star game. So what's more special than that? When you're a little kid, you're watching the lineups, and to think of a moment where you would be on that line, alongside of all the All-Stars, the great players in the game, it's really special. And I told Chris and Maikel, just take in every moment, enjoy it. You really deserve it. Yeah, that's why you're there. Carlos has been there before, Bobby's been there before, but it's just a really good thing for the organization. And we felt the same way. We were very upset that both Carlos and Maikel were left out, and quite honestly, we feel like Lugo should have been an All-Star as well. But things worked out, and the 2 of those that were left off initially were named to the All-Star team, and couldn't be more proud. And with Maikel, just thinking back to when he was 16 years old at our academy, and probably 135 pounds, to now see him 6-7 years later playing in an All-Star game is pretty special. And everybody in our organization is really proud of Maikel, and our coaches and scouts should be proud of themselves for identifying somebody at a really young age that's an All-Star. So it's a great accomplishment. for every facet of our organization.
Before we talk about the trade deadline, which is only a few weeks away, I do want to ask you just how you feel about the first 100 games of the season. We had seen some of your comments earlier in there. You've had now a few more days to sit with it. Where are some of the areas in which you're like, it can just be better simply by being better as far as the hitting goes or the players? Like, where is the optimism just now that you've seen the first 100 games or so?
Yeah, well, I think it's very obvious that we haven't played to our capabilities just yet, and we're still in the middle of this thing. So I think we all are very happy about that. We if it wasn't for our pitching, who knows where we'd be right now. But our pitching's been outstanding. We've weathered some storms there with the pitching. We haven't had Cole essentially, pretty much the whole year. We haven't had Hunter Harvey the whole year, and we're still competing at a high level on the mound. And that's, that is a building block for us. So that's what has allowed us to be in this position. Just when you look internally, things that we know we can do better, we have done better in the past with the same guys on this team, is capitalize when we have opportunities to score and run the bases better. They're the two areas that we were built on last year. So if our offense was sputtering a little bit, we were still scratching runs across because we did those things. And we have four pillars. It's pitching, defense, situational, hitting, and base running. The first two, we're doing pretty well. The last two, we're not. We do that better, we're going to win more games. And then obviously, our offense just as a whole is going to need to step up. We've got to be hitting better than we've been hitting overall. We got to get on base at a higher level. But I wouldn't say these things in a venue like this or a platform like this if I didn't feel like we could do it. I know our guys feel like we can do it. And now it's a matter of stop talking about it and go play and win games. And that's what needs to happen.
I know that lots of guys can contribute to that. After the first months of the season, Vinny Pasquantino would have been a guy who'd been like, wow, not the version we're used to seeing. Since then, is this about the best version of Vinny you've seen? Because he is on pace to break a number of career numbers, but you're going to need him to keep doing that in the second half if you guys are going to catch up.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, you look at our season last year, the three guys did so much for us, Vinny being one of them. And, Jake Eisenberg told me the other day that Vinny's got the most hits since May 1 in baseball, and that's Vinny. That's the Vinny we know. And I don't recall, comparatively speaking, numbers prior to May 1 and 24 and 25, but I know he didn't start off all that well in 24. So it was a little bit of the same, and now Vinny's just found his groove. He's taking better at bats. He's swinging at better pitches. He's laying off the pitches he was swinging at early, and he's been productive. So, I think that we have very good reason to believe Vinny's going to be very consistent and continue hitting the way he has, since May 1. So it's a great sign for us.
We're talking to JJ Picollo here on 96.5 The Fan. We've asked you about Noah Cameron before, but now that we see this first half of the season done and he finishes the first half before the break with another unbelievable outing there against the Mets in a game that felt like a really big win for you guys that you needed before you headed out for the break. What have you just continued to see from him? Because admittedly, I think a lot of us from the outside saw a few of his outings initially and said, okay, it's a great story and all that, but all right, when's the shoe going to drop? I mean, but this is now multiple outings, and he's been able to be this consistent.
Yeah, it's really incredible, and he's doing it against good lineups. I mean, that Met lineup's pretty darn good, and and he just dominated. And we, a lot of us watching the game in the draft room, the comments in there. This is what happens when his stuff is really good. The breaking ball is really working. The cutter he's got working. The slider, fastball at velocity and location. That's a pretty special day for him. But it's when you really think about it, I know Jacob Wilson is getting a lot of attention for Rookie of the Year, but Noah Cameron needs to be considered for this as well. I mean, that's how well he's pitching. I mean, it's a sub-3 ERA across really 3 months of the season now. So, I know we're not going to get consumed with that. It's more about the team, but Noah Cameron is having a Rookie of the Year type of season, and of course it needs to continue. But his composure is what stands out the most. He just, you mentioned you're waiting for the shoe to drop. I think Noah just has that mentality, like when it's game time, I'm going to go out and compete. And the nice thing is when he hasn't had the curveball the way we saw it the other day, or didn't have the slider, he still figures out ways to get guys off the barrels and get outs, and that's a sign of a really good starting pitcher.
Is this one of those, we talked about this before, like Whit Merrifield's an example for you guys. Is this one that surprised you guys too, just how much he succeeded or has succeeded so far at the big league level? Or did you guys have more internal optimism than maybe we were from the outside, you know?
I think we didn't have any doubts that he was a starting pitcher and could be in our rotation. I think what he's doing right now is so exceptional, you know, and we don't think in terms of we need this, well, this player is going to go to the major leagues and do X. They need to fill a role. And if you're going to be in the rotation, you may slowly graduate from a 5 to a 4 to a 3 to a 2, whatever it may be. But we definitely, I mean, last year, you know, I will say our top evaluators were in Omaha quite a bit in September. And the recommendation coming out of that group was, if we have an injury going into the playoffs, Noah Cameron's the guy. He wasn't on the roster, hadn't made a major league start yet. So when the AAA season ended, we sent a group of guys to Arizona to continue to work out in case we had an injury in the playoffs. And Noah Cameron was one of them. The rest of them were the obvious guys. He was the one that if we had needed a start, Noah Cameron was going to come up last year. And I think I bring that up only because it speaks to the confidence that our top evaluators had in Noah and what he was doing in AAA. So, you know, we're not surprised he's a starting pitcher in the major leagues. Pitching to this level, yeah, we're really, really happy he's doing it because it's so exceptional.
Sticking with pitching, unfortunately, yesterday we learned that Michael Lorenzen's on the IL, retroactive. I think it was to July 11th. We know Cole Reagans, of course, is right now on the 60-day IL. What's the latest with both of them? Do we think Michael Lorenzen is going to be longer than this 15 days? And how, you know, that timeline for him right now?
Yeah, we don't expect it. We're taking a cautious route here and thinking long term. It's not worth having him make his start on Saturday. He was going to pitch Saturday. It's not worth trying to get him back out there. It's a minor oblique strain. It's nothing that we expect to keep him out for a long period of time. Ideally, it's one start, and then we get him back into the rotation. If it's two, but that's the right thing to do because long term we need him going into August and September, then that's what we'll do. And then Cole the other day, you know, he's throwing a baseball. You know, he's making those, you know, he had been throwing a football. That's part of his rehab. Now he's getting into throwing baseballs. And, you know, we're going to have to slowly build Cole up. And, you know, the time frame is probably a little bit later than, you know, we'd like it to be. But Cole's a huge part of our future, and we're not going to do anything, egregious here, trying to force him back in sooner than he should. We're gonna handle him right and get him back. You know, hopefully sometime middle of August to late August, somewhere in there. But same thing, his long-term health is more of a priority. And if we try to force guys, whether it's Lorenzen or Cole, to get back sooner, we're not going to get the best version of them anyway. So we'll be careful with both.
Next time we talk to you, JJ, it'll be a couple days before the trade deadline. As far as your guys' interest in trading, you guys have made it pretty clear that you are still thinking, your plan is still, we're in it, and we're thinking about how we can improve this team in that way. Would that include, or are you guys willing to possibly trade current Major League players on your roster for different Major League ready players who could help you this year? Is that part of the consideration as you guys look at these things?
I think the best way to answer that is we're going to try to improve our team any way we can. And we have to be, I think, open to different concepts. And if that includes something that maybe is a piece off of our Major League team to get something back for our Major League team, then yeah, we got to think about that. You know, you could probably define seller in a lot of different ways. But when you're sellers, you're trading Major League pieces for prospects for the most part. I mean, that you're trying to rebuild. That's not the case for us. We're trying to make our Major League team better, ideally in 25, but certainly in 26, 27, 28. Any way we can make our team better, and it may be a tough move. You know, that a lot of times, though, when you have a partner like that, they may be shopping the same thing you're shopping, and it just may not line up. But until you have those conversations, you don't know where the teams are. And, you know, now that the draft's over, I would expect that, you know, today is a day that we'll get very busy with teams checking in with each other and a little bit more clarity on who's going to be thinking, you know, the way you just posed that question, thinking now that they are sellers or thinking, you know, we're definite buyers. We got to make those calls and and figure it out. But this is about the time it'll start shaping up, especially with all the teams that are still in the race.
You kind of answered it there. Does that mean, has it been kind of quiet to this point in time then?
Yeah, but it was quiet. Yes, it's been very quiet, very, very surfacey type conversations. And then you get into the couple days before the draft and it just kind of goes away for a few days. But again, everybody's probably slept a little bit later today, getting ready to go on the next run for 2 weeks.
Last one I have for you, JJ. I did want to ask about, because we see it on the text line or on social media quite a bit. So really kind of two parts of this. One, are you surprised by the amount of backlash it seems for Q over some of the managerial decisions outside of that? And I guess inside of that, we talk about players all the time. How is Q handling, or how do you guys handle some of that like external noise that maybe comes sometimes with the criticism of being a professional coach or athlete or whatever else,
Yeah, I mean, to be very candid, I didn't know that there's criticism of Q, but he's a major league manager. They get criticized. That's what it is. I mean, that's when you sign up for that job, you know that's part of it. But the best way to not get distracted is to not get caught up in it. Don't read it. If you're reading it, then you get caught up in it. Our conversations after every game are no different than, when we lose than when we win. What were you thinking here? What were you thinking there? They're productive. They're productive conversations, and they're not with a critical spirit. But we're a team. We win together, we lose together. We can criticize each other's decisions, but we're in this thing together. I think overall, I mean, the difference between this year and last year, if we were 3 games under 500 last year at this point, I think our fans by and large would be happy because it'd be a great improvement. This year it's a little different because, we won 86 games last year. So I'm glad that our fans have expectations. We invite that. We want that. But it's not going to change, how we operate. We have to do what's best night in, night out. We got to do what's best for our current roster to try to win. And ideally, if we play the last 2 months like we did the first 2 months of last year, pretty good chance we'll be in the playoffs again. But you got to take it one day at a time. You can, you think about those things, but then you got to bring yourself back into today is the most important day. And just start winning some series. You win 2 out of 3, you win 2 out of 3, you win 2 out of 3. You do those types of things, you'll slowly creep back to 5, 6, 7, 10 games over 500. And it looks like this year that's probably going to be enough to get in the playoffs. A lot of games still to be played, but that's how we look at it. You go through these highs and lows, and we just need to start playing better, more consistent baseball to have better conversations, and our fans will be happy, and they'll like you. So that's the way I look
it's
at
tough. Like, Ned obviously got a lot of that in the previous manager, in that run, obviously. And he seemed to take it with a little, he took it with a grain of salt, I think, the entire time. But I always just wonder, is it hard sometimes to not let it get to you?
Yeah, you just have to do your job. We can't get caught up in those things. I mean, that's I grew up in Philadelphia. You guys know that.
Yeah.
Fan is short for fanatics, and if we don't have fanatics about our team, then there's nobody coming to the ballpark. So fans have the right to be upset at whatever they want to be upset at. They have the right to be happy about whatever they want to be happy about. But logically, we know you win, they're happy. You don't win, they're not happy, and that's fine. I love it. To be very honest, I love that fans are that way, and I think that's what makes sports a lot of fun.
JJ Picollo, Royals general manager. Appreciate the time. We ran out of time. We'll have to talk draft some other time as well. I know it's been a busy couple days.
All right, guys. Thank you.
There you go. That's JJ Picollo with us here on 96.5 The Fan. Yeah, we didn't get into the draft. There's plenty of other pressing things going on as well.
It's just hard. They win a lot of prep players, so I feel like I'll have 4 or 5 years to talk about a lot of those guys. And I know the work they put in to do it.
And right now, look, this is a team that has expectations to make the postseason. Yeah. The trade deadline stuff is way more impactful for them moving forward. And, we will get it one more time with JJ right before the trade deadline as well. It's going to be interesting. And you heard him say it there that maybe starting today is when discussions, doesn't mean a trade's happening soon, but discussions really heat up across all of baseball. That during the draft period, maybe things cool off and people aren't really calling around as much. And it's a surface level type of conversation. So we'll see. You asked him about, the big league talent to
I'm
get big
essentially
league
asking,
talent.
will you trade Seth Lugo for a different player? I'm not trying to straight up say that. That's rude, but
But no, I mean, that's, look, and he mentioned, like, maybe you have to, what was the phrase he used? A tough deal or a move that hurts or whatever, kind of. Yeah. And that would obviously be potentially trading somebody like Seth Lugo, and that's the path that they choose to go to help maybe get an outfield bat or something. But you heard him also say they're not, it sounds like
they're not sellers.
Trading to go get prospects doesn't seem like that's in the cards.
No, the way they view sellers is the way I view sellers, and the way I think Josh Vernier, who'll join us tomorrow, certainly views it as well, which is selling is I give you major league players. Sometimes those major league players have a lot of control left, and you give me back 20-year-olds. And we find out a couple years from now if those 20-year-olds are good, kind of good, can help the team, all those other things. The way they view sellers, obviously internally, is that. So in their mind, if they sell, like trade Seth Lugo, trade Steven Cruz, trade Estevez, trade whoever, if that is for a player who is in the major leagues, or let's just say in AAA, we always use the Cubs outfielder as an example, a guy who's in AAA,
Casey or Cassie,
ready to be in the big leagues according to all accounts as of today, they don't view that as selling. They view that as, we're trying to improve our major league roster with this player. This time it happened to cost us a different major league player. So, like, I kind of view it in a similar light. We'll see which way they actually go with this thing. The next time we talk to them will be 2 days before the trade deadline. So either they will have made a trade or we'll all be, hey, you guys doing something?
Also, I mean, 2 weeks from now, too, they would have played another 10 games or so, right? So we'll see where's the team at that point. Right out of the All-Star break, they're in Miami, if I'm not mistaken, on Friday. So what do they do even in that opening series against the Marlins, offensively in particular?
How'd you feel about the timeline for Cole? Mid to late August at best?
So once I take it at, so once he moved to 60-day and it was retroactive, he was never before that coming back to like August 7th anyway.
That was
whatever.
The earliest, yeah.
And so the way I take it is, where's the team middle of August? We asked Vern the question last week about this. Like, Cole Reagans also wants to pitch, wants to come back and all that. If it's the middle of August and the team is way out of it, then depending on who you have or haven't traded in the rotation, what your rotation looks like, there'd be an argument like, why would you bring him back, I think, at that point, like this year, right? But if the team is playing well and they're still within a spot or 2 or 3 of a playoff spot, then middle of August, he's up. That would be a great time to be able to bring him back. But that sounds like that's the earliest, but right around the middle of August.
I will say, I'd asked about Noah Cameron because he was the type of prospect that you had asked, because neither of us had any expectation for him. When he got called, we're like, okay, cool, Noah Cameron, sounds good. Like I didn't think he was a bad pitcher. I just didn't think that hard about it. The idea that going back to the playoffs last year, if they knew that they had just like injuries piled up and we need a spot start in the Major League Baseball playoffs for a guy, Noah Cameron was the choice, that gives me a little bit more hope about the sustainability of it. Because the question always with guys who are a little less hyped is, can this last? Can we keep counting on this? And I know after he said Rookie of the Year, you went to go look up the odds. Where's Noah Cameron?
Right away. Right? I obviously wasn't going to bring up the odds with the general manager, but he's
a long shot, right?
But I looked it up immediately. So he's 85-1 to win Rookie of the Year. Now, I don't disagree that he should be odds-wise should not be 85-1. He should be much better than that. If you were wondering, Jacob Wilson plus 115, Cam Smith plus 160, Nick Kurtz 3.5-1, and then there's a huge gap before you get to Roman Anthony, Jason Dominguez. But Caglione still has better odds. Sorry, hold on, just off. He's right behind him. Sorry, Cags is 100-1, Noah Cameron 85-1.
I will say it does speak to a lack of
name recognition too, man.
It does, but it's also like sometimes it's like, can we think outside the box here a little bit? Because I understand that this is a narrative award, just like every other award, and that the national media has to know who you are. Mm-hmm. But this
would help if the Royals also got hot.
Sure. and he was one of the reasons that they did.
Yeah, if he keeps pitching this way and the Royals suddenly go on a 10-game winning streak or something and they're in a playoff spot, then it's a different conversation, I think, for this too.
But like some of the guys that are just like ahead of him on the list, I'm just like, come on.
I mean, nobody's going to argue about Jacob Wilson, Cam Smith, and Nick Kurtz. I think the question is,
I think he
why
should be
is
fourth.
Noah Cameron not in the same odds territory as a Roman Anthony or a Jason Dominguez at this point? But that's Boston and New York. That's the answer.
And that just goes back to our complaints about the sport in general. Because if Noah Cameron was doing what he's doing in Boston, he would have those odds.
I agree.
So like he would be 25-1. if he was in Boston and New York.
And by the way, at one point in time,
for Noah Cameron, that's just kind of a rob.
Noah Cameron, after 5 outings, actually was 25-35 to 1. Remember, we had the conversation then, and then he had one rough outing, and then odds-wise, at least, he's fallen off the face of the earth. But yeah, I think a lot of it in the second half, if you want him to suddenly have, the odds that represent him as the fourth best rookie this season or third best rookie in the AL this season, it's probably going to take the Royals as a team being above 500 for starters and probably getting hot and all of a sudden being in a playoff spot.
And him having a couple of 7 innings, I allow 1 or 0 runs as a part of that run.
6 2/3 against the Mets on Sunday, that lineup of shutout baseball, that'll get it done.
I mean, again, to JJ's point, he's not just been doing a bunch of softies. He's faced some difficult lineups and held his own.
All right, coming up next, a little more update on the stadium front, including some comments that are out there about Mayor Q and Frank White, and one other reason why it's hard to take some of this seriously. We'll explain that next.
This is Cody and Gold.
You will not decorate my balls, period. I will decorate my balls.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in Kansas City. And our more than 30 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Hi, I'm Mitch Schultz, voice of the Chiefs. Make history this summer by attending Kansas City Chiefs training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri. There's still time to join me. For more details, go to stjomo.com. stjomo.com. In St. Joe, you'll discover 150 years of history, where the Pony Express began and Jesse James ended. Experience history, make history. Go to stjomo.com. Produced in cooperation with the Missouri Division of Tourism.
It's Taco Tuesday time, Kansas City, and Third Street Social is bringing the flavor. Every Tuesday from 3 p.m. to close, hit the bar or lounge for our legendary $2.50 tacos and $5 house margaritas made with Jose Cuervo Tradicional Silver. Come see us at one of 3 convenient Third Street Social locations: South Plaza, Northland, and Lee Summit. Join us for steak, street tacos, cold drinks, and your favorite neighborhood vibe. Third Street Social, a part of the Summit Hospitality Group and a proud taco partner of the Cody Plus Gold Show on 96.5 The Fan.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. With more than 50 expert providers and 25 convenient locations, you get the care you need quickly and close to home. From advanced diagnostics to the latest treatments, KCUC offers cutting-edge technology that sets us apart. It's no wonder we're the region's premier urology and oncology center. You deserve the best, so why go anywhere else? Visit kcuc.com today. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
It's summertime, and I love being outside, hanging out, doing all of those great outdoor activities. But if you have knee, hip, or shoulder pain and it's not getting any better, and you're stuck in a cycle of steroid shots, and now they're talking about surgery, slow down a minute. I may have the solution for you. Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and my friends at QC Kinetics are the leaders in regenerative medicine, using treatments like advanced cellular therapy and platelet-rich plasma, all designed to actually help your body heal itself. And the best part about it is there's no meds, there's no surgery. It's advanced cellular therapy. These aren't Band-Aids. We're not masking the pain. It goes right to the root of the problem. And the best part is you can get a free second opinion. A licensed medical provider will go over your x-rays or MRI and see if you're a good fit for these breakthrough treatments, and it doesn't cost anything. So call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299, off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. Saturday appointments available. It's QC Kinetics.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done, fast. We've got a huge variety of metals in stock, and we cut to size, fast. Bottom line, we get it done fast, so you get it done fast. Doesn't get easier than that. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store or buy online at metalsupermarkets.com.
DQ presents How to Make Your Summer Take Flight. Just head into DQ for a new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat. Treat your inner hero to an epic mix of sugar cookie dough, sprinkles, and cake batter flavor. Blend it all with legendary DQ soft serve, and it's enough to tempt Superman himself. Fly into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat before it's gone. And don't miss Superman, only in theaters July 11th. DQ, happy tastes good. Only at participating locations.
College days are back on the drive. Listen for K-State Day on Thursday, July 17th, starting at 2 o'clock on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We will get to the trash of the day here in about 20 minutes or so.
Is it just Jazz Chisholm? Because he was trash in the home run derby.
We'll get back to Jazz at noon, I promise you. It's like, honestly, during the break, we got two different texts. Someone's like, hey, did I miss you guys talking about Jazz Chisholm? You did, but we will talk about the home run derby again.
I'm not going to talk trash on him just one
Coming
time
up at noon. That was enjoyable. It was very enjoyable watching Jazz Chisholm almost skunk himself during that. 3 homers.
I don't want to
during
mess
the home
up
run
my
derby.
swing.
Yeah, that was... Maybe we'll get Drew to roll that audio. And Drew, if not, I'll send you the link. I wasn't going to bring in the whole audio, but maybe we need to. The best part was after the derby when Jazz Chisholm only hits 3, and he was like, well, I just didn't want to mess my swing up for the second half. Well, then why'd you enter the home run derby, dude?
Did you? Well, during his actual session, I don't know if it was Eduardo Perez or who it was, but they were saying, he's dealing with the oblique, and
they were excuse making so hard for his
I don't know
ass.
who it was. It might have been Eduardo Perez.
He might have had a cold.
Yeah.
Someone might have tagged him too hard on the helmet on Friday before the All-Star
Then drop
game.
out of the derby. Then drop out of the derby and don't do it. Anyway, we will talk more about the home run derby.
Michael Garcia would have hit more. And he's not even
absolutely
true
he would.
power
He would have had more than 3. Yes, I'm convinced as well. I'm very convinced.
Kyle Isbell would have hit more. Yes. Throw any Royal in there.
Why did you use Kyle Isbell as an example, Drew?
I don't know. You can use anybody else.
Tyler Tolbert might have gotten the job done. He could have gotten close to 3. Come on.
Okay, there was no shade at Kyle Isbell. I'm just saying, I picked a random name.
I just don't think Tyler Tolbert has a career home run, so he feels like
Hell, the high schooler who they just drafted could have.
I actually like this as a new concept for the.
Probably true. Josh Hammond would have had at least 7.
I like this as a new concept for the Derby. One of two things. One option is the final spot on the Derby goes to a player that had no home runs in the big leagues so far this year that's played in like more than 20 games.
And each one of his home runs counts for like 4.
You don't even have to change the rules. I just mean you pick a player that has no home runs in the big leagues this year, and you get that player in the Derby and just to see what happens. Or you do what Drew said, which is one of the top picks in the MLB draft, get a spot in the Derby immediately. That'll never happen, I understand, but that'd be another fun way to do it.
Actually, to Tyler Tolbert's credit, although he does not have a big league home run, he did once hit 10 home runs at AA. So he probably would have beat him out. My apologies, Tyler Tolbert. I wasn't familiar with your game.
Mm-hmm.
Your minor league game.
Yes. Coming up in about a half hour, we will talk with Matt Verderame, Sports Illustrated, discuss Trey Smith and that deadline for Eastern this afternoon, 3 o'clock our time. See if he's going to play on a 1-year, $23.4 million deal or if a long-term deal will be reached. I think I said 2 o'clock earlier. I will blame somebody else and not take responsibility for that.
3.
We were in the bullpen earlier today. We were talking to our guy Kramer, and I said, 3 o'clock today. He goes, no, it's 2. And I took him at his word.
I'm pretty sure it's 4-3 Central.
That's right. And I said, is it 3 Eastern? He goes, yeah. Nope. That's my fault.
Raiders fan, dude. He's trying to set you up.
That's
you
what
knew
it
better.
is. Yeah. I knew it was 3 o'clock Central, and I got switched.
You believe somebody else, man.
That's right. I'll take.
So I can't take people at their word. Hence our next conversation.
Let's talk stadium. Let's talk stadium a little bit. So we all have been discussing this for years now.
Yeah.
The latest, though, Fox 4 had an interesting article. I think it was Malik Jackson, one of the reporters, that had some new scoop on. I'll just read you the headline. Royal Stadium standoff. Sources slam KC leaders over lack of vision. All right, that was the headline. I'll read you a couple pieces of this story. Multiple sources close to the situation tell Fox 4 they are growing increasingly upset with KC Mayor Quentin Lucas and Jackson County Executive Frank White, accusing both of failing to lead at a critical moment. Went on to say, Fox 4 spoke with 4 well-placed sources, including individuals at the city and state levels, some directly involved in the negotiations with the Royals and the Chiefs. One source didn't mince words. Quote, there's been a complete lack of leadership and vision from the beginning. This is all solvable, but nobody is steering the ship. If the Royals leave Kansas City, that is on Quentin Lucas. That's just some of what was said in this article by Fox 4. Now, Mayor Quentin Lucas, of course, responded to the piece from Fox 4 and said, I remain in contact with the Royals. I have the chance to talk to the Royals all the time. We have a wonderful relationship that has been regular.
First, I'm obviously tired, as we all have mentioned a million times, about the way the back and forth is. I have to assume this came from the Royals side. I don't think an article leaks out that says, the Royals are mad at Mayor Q and Frank White. And then lumping your name with Frank White, by the way, really says something, because we know they've been mad at him forever. So, if you're now tossing in the mayor as a part of this leadership stuff, that has to be coming from the Royal side. I wonder if it keeps stemming from the thing I brought up a bunch of times, which he has said they have ways to fund it without involving the public, but those funding mechanisms have never actually been said. That sentence has been said. It has never been made clear where those funding mechanisms come from. The worst part about this is that now everyone's pretty much just saying 2026. I had sent out a tweet that said, this is taking forever. Todd Palmer, good friend of ours over at KSHB, had said, yes, it is. I hear it probably won't get solved until 2026. And then without mentioning the mayor or anything else in between there, the mayor found it and had responded in that thread and said, Todd is right on the timing. We're all a little tired of this. But what was the exact word? Because this was the one that got me a little bit. It was, but there will eventually be a resolution. You're like, well, yeah. I mean, no one's arguing the fact that there will eventually be a resolution to this. The problem is that originally the resolution was supposed to be 2 years ago, then a year ago, then 6 months ago.
Now that I blame everybody.
Today,
I mean, I blame on everybody, right?
Oh, I do too, yeah.
The timeline taking this long,
Royals,
that's
Chiefs,
everybody.
Local,
that's the city, state, county, Royals, Chiefs. Everybody's to blame for that. I just think it's very evident now that the timelines are absolutely heading towards next year now. I mean, if the Chiefs truly want to renovate Arrowhead, we know it's an April, pretty much they've said an April ballot at this point. So that's already April 2026. The Royals, just based off of this report, the fact that Clay County suddenly got a term sheet last week.
Theirs would have to probably be an April ballot.
I think, we're going to be towards the end of this year into next year before we get any resolution on where these teams are going, and we just keep doing this whole charade over and over.
Can we talk about how, in the meantime, Frank White is desperately throwing sports Hail Marys in an attempt to, I don't know, save his position as Jackson County Commissioner? I can't tell. I'm guessing that's what it's for. Save a little face in all of this ugliness.
The news yesterday, I think originally I saw Sam McDowell over at the Star that had this letter, but basically Jackson County Executive Frank White Jr. wrote a letter to the governor of Missouri, Mike Keogh. I think this was actually last week, but it became public knowledge yesterday. And he proposed that the county renew the 3/8 cent sales tax. So he was encouraging.
Wait.
Yes.
Just before you go further, the one that he actively encouraged everyone to vote against.
I believe that's accurate.
Okay.
But the difference is he wants it to focus on three things. So 2/3 of the 3/8 cent sales tax would go to something that's not stadium related. One part of the 3/8 he believes should go to modernizing, improving Arrowhead Stadium. Then the other two sound great in theory, don't get me wrong, right?
They shouldn't technically need all 3/8. They should only need half of the 3/8.
Right. Investing in public health and restoring and upgrading public safety infrastructure.
Okay, so you know what's happening here, right? One, he's trying to save his job. Gold, this goes back to, remember when he was making these demands of the Royals that were being totally unreasonable? It's yeah, sure, we'd like you to do the stadium, but also you have to build us a jet. It kind of goes back to this part of it. He is asking for unreasonable things because he has done horrifying things to the budget. And this is a way of fixing things that he can't fix under the normal budget because he tried to charge everyone property taxes and that went horribly. And now they're trying to reconcile where some of that money is going to come from. And so it's well, you know what? Now we can do the 3/8 cent sales tax, but we want 2/3 of it. The Chiefs initially only wanted half of it anyway. Half of the 3/8. I don't want to do the math on that, but you get the point. So now he's still asking for 66% where they would want 50. He's not even willing to budge on the normal stuff, but he still wants the city to come up with the full 3/8. They got decidedly voted down for other stuff.
The county,
Yeah, the county. Do we really think that the county would vote for it if they knew that it was going to public health? People don't like taxes. That's not going to solve the problem, I don't think, on this end. I think it's just a prayer stuff. Did he veto whatever he wanted to veto and all that other stuff?
I do not know the latest on the recall election. If that's happening in August or that's going to go. It sounds like this is going to go to court. Get it hung up in court a little bit and figure out ultimately the timeline on that.
I'm not saying that some of the teams aren't asking for more than they need, and this goes back to the utopian and the billion and all this stuff. But I will say, for the people who are texting in, hey, it's the teams who are delaying this as they're trying to squeeze as much money out of all of us as possible. The teams are at fault for this. I'm not even disagreeing. I said last week that I thought the Chiefs in particular, their strategy had been largely about how can I get the most for the thing that I want? And I'm not saying the Royals aren't trying to do that either. That's how stadium builds work. I will say, though, this was a bit of a warning, in particular from this show, if you still want the stadiums and live in Jackson County. Because the best deal for Jackson County was a year ago. It was always the best deal for Jackson County. Whether you like the deal or not or want to fund public stadiums, set that aside. Just the best deal financially on paper was always the one last April for Jackson County. They cost themselves money the second they made it an open bidding war. That's how bidding wars work. When you enter Clay and Jackson and the state of Kansas and everything else, I remember specifically us talking about that, right?
Well, it was very obvious after last April's ballot measure failed drastically. That besides the embarrassment of that night of the failure of the vote, ultimately the real winners were still the teams because they get to now play the game that they are currently playing, which is leveraging everybody possible to try to get the best deal.
When it eventually comes down to a vote, does all of this hurt the odds of getting it passed? The how long it's taking, the dragged out nature of it. Does that hurt their ability to get this thing passed? I wonder sometimes.
I think a lot of it depends on just what the
stretched.
climate. The danger is what's the economic climate as well. If in April,
Sure.
we have no idea.
Yeah, it comes with risk. There's no doubt about it. But boy, what a mess. Speaking of contracts and the other stuff, and like you said, we'll talk about Trey Smith with Matt Verderame coming up at 11:30. He still does not have a long-term deal done. We are obviously going to pay attention to it all day long, as Alex had made it very clear, we think it'd be a big mistake by the Chiefs if they were unable to get that deal. I saw a deal yesterday for Garrett Wilson. Signed a super rich wide receiver contract to remain a New York Jet for some time. And while I don't care how the Jets spend their money because they're an irrelevant franchise until further notice, I do wonder, when I saw those numbers in particular, I had the immediate thought of, well, I tell you what, I can't think of a wide receiver in the Chiefs right now that I'd be willing to pay that money to in a couple of years. Is that what it's going to cost? And I know some of this is dependent on what happens next in the next couple of years with both Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. But 4 for 130, whew, man, I'm having a hard time looking at those numbers and thinking they got a wide receiver on staff that would be worthy of that contract. Not the pun intended. That was just the word that ended up coming out, but you get the point.
Yes.
The pun was not intended. I hate it now. I could have said any other word, and that was the one that came first. But you get the point. Do you think there's any chance that there's a wide receiver that gets paid that amount of money on this team?
Well, it depends on what Rice does this year and also how the legal situation goes. If you tell me Rashee Rice goes out there and does something that I think he might do this year, which is a 1,250-plus yard season, then he obviously would position himself in a really nice spot to get paid very, very soon. But that's also depending on what the legal stuff ends up being and how that's resolved. And also, does he stay out of any bit of trouble? All that comes into play, whereas Garrett Wilson has been squeaky clean since he's been in the league. He's had 3,000-yard seasons. He's also been on a terrible Jets team with quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson and whoever else filling in with a coaching staff that's been a mess and everything. So Garrett Wilson, props to him. You know, it's getting paid pretty quickly in his NFL career. We were talking off air about him. I think he's a very good receiver. I don't put him in that special group yet.
He's been 1,000 yards on
this year. His quarterback
like Mike Evansy, right?
This year, his quarterback is Justin Fields. So yet again, it's like we're not going to see him this year, even what it's like to be with a stud quarterback and what can he really do. But yeah, money wise for the Chiefs, I mean, right now the only answer would be Rashee Rice if in a year or so he has his big season.
What if Worthy just has like a Devontae Smith career? Like he ends up being like 1,000. You know, like he wasn't at 1,000 last year, but let's just say the next 2 years he gets 1,000. You're willing to go? I guess at that point it'd be a little higher, but let's just call it the 4 for 130.
Is the cap still going up at this crazy rate? If it is, then it won't seem as bad. It won't seem as bad.
I am fascinated to find out as Brett Veach moves on who he is and isn't.
There will be a receiver they pay long term at some point. There will be one. I don't know if it's on the roster.
One of these? Yeah, but that's the question. Is it one of these two guys?
Well, right now, like if we did a odds chart, Rashee Rice would still be the favorite in this one to be the wide receiver that gets paid.
Agreed.
I mean, would have to.
Is it easier to swallow if you know that Travis Kelce's number's not on the books? Because he's not expensive by wide receiver standpoints, but he is the most expensive tight end.
Yeah, to me, either the guy's not on the roster yet, or he's in college, or it's Rice or Worthy. That's it. I mean, it's not Hollywood Brown. You know,
I mean, it wasn't. They had a top 5 receiver in the NFL, and they told him to walk.
Understand? Yep.
I think it could be both of them, because
you think they pay him the way A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith both got a check,
or the way Jamar Chase, if Rashee Rice puts up that 1,400, and T. Higgins have been paid. Because if you look at, of course, Trey Smith and what happens is going to be interesting to see how that goes with the money. But Chris Jones, in 2 years, is he still on the roster when Xavier would be getting paid? So you avoid that. You avoid the Kelce stuff. So I think there's room where you'll have to pay McDuffie, but George Karlaftis is not going to get top tier money, I wouldn't think. McDuffie will, but
I think this is why I don't think ultimately George Karlaftis gets a deal in Kansas City. I think the Karlaftis number is going to shock people. It is going to be a massive number.
If he gets like 10 or 11 sacks this year,
massive number for Karlaftis.
He's going to end up being one of the 5 highest paid defensive ends in the NFL.
What, like $28 million a year or $27 million a year? I don't know where they put him.
It might be 30.
It's going to be a much bigger contract than people realize to get Karlaftis done if they wait till next year.
What's his career high number right now?
Sacks, 10, 11, something like that?
If he gets 10 more and he gets paid $30 million a year, I think that's...
Well, this is why I don't think the Chiefs would do it. But
it's not an overpay based on the way the NFL works. Here are the 4 guys making
over... For the production, it is.
Here's the 4 guys making over
I wouldn't pay it.
Or over $30 million a year at defensive end. Myles Garrett, Danielle Hunter, Max Crosby, and Nick Bosa. But Josh Hines Allen, Brian Burns, Montez Sweat,
Greg Rousseau,
Andrew Van Ginkel... Those guys all make in the $22 to $28 million range, which means the price tag goes up.
Yeah, I don't think it's 30 for Karlaftis. It's probably like 27.
Yeah, I think 27.
I think it's at least 28. If Josh Hines Allen makes 28, it's at least 28. They don't have to pay him like Nick Bosa or Crosby or Hunter, but like he's probably $30 million a year.
What's
it's
Josh
crazy
Hines
what
Allen's
Crosby's gonna make?
Where are you seeing Josh Hines Allen? I'm on defensive end spot track. He's not even in the top 15.
They show him at. He just signed a contract, maybe over the cap. I'm on over the cap.
Okay,
they got him at 141 million.
What was his production?
Spot track doesn't have it updated then.
Do we know what his production was?
Because Spot Track says Bosa, Garrett, Crosby, Milton Williams, Montez Sweat, and Rashawn Gary are the top 6 paid defensive ends in football.
Here, Josh Hines Allen, he did have a 17.5 sack season, but here is other years: 10.5, 2.5, 7.5, 7, 17.5, and 8. Like.
It makes sense why he would get paid that sort of money, though, because he had the one season. I know that it's
just
only
one year. George Karlaftis has been
6, 10.5, and 8. I mean, he's
averaging more sacks per season than Josh Hines.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the 17. He's not getting paid $30 million unless that team just wants to overpay. Like he might end up going to the Titans, but
Spot Track breaks down defensive end and edge as 2 different positions. So on edge, Josh Hines Allen is listed as the 3rd highest paid. For whatever reason, they don't list him on if you just go defensive. Okay. Whatever, just a
that makes sense. I was like,
deal.
I'm showing him on here. I don't know. I like that we were on the 2 different cap websites, and they're just listening to it. All right, here's your other guy. You'd mentioned Rashawn Gary, right? The defensive lineman for the Green Bay Packers. Here are his sack totals: 5, 9.5, 6, 9, and 7.5.
Similar.
He makes $27 million a year. So Karlaftis has to get, just based on the way contracts have worked in the history of the NFL, more than that.
But
guy.
do you think the Chiefs pay him that? I don't think the Chiefs pay him that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the number is going to shock people. I do not believe if they sign Trey Smith to a long-term deal today and they get a McDuffie deal done, whether it's before this season or at the end of the season, I don't believe they will be able to get a deal with Myles Garrett done. And Dusty even texted. He's like, what about TJ Watt and Micah Parsons are going to get deals very soon, too.
Hendrickson is going to get paid by somebody.
George
their numbers have nothing to do with
I understand. Kind of to a certain extent, they do. But
it's like, how close can you get to that?
Yeah, nobody's saying he's on that level. But if Karlaftis is healthy all year and has 9 to 11 sacks, let's say, he is going to be one of the highest paid defensive ends in football. He just will.
I believe he'll make between 27 and 30.
Which is why I think they could pay Zay, because right now, because somebody in the text line's like, they're not going to follow the Bengals route. They're going to pay defensive players. Right now, they'll pay Trent McDuffie, and who else on the defense are they going to pay that we have no idea is going to be worth enough money where they're going to take a big chunk of the cap? I don't think, unless
you know how that goes.
Think Noah Williams is great, or Jaden Hicks is going to be the top paid safety here in 2 years, or how that goes where you know what you have. Why keep forcing Mahomes to keep playing with rookie wide receivers? We know we can elevate him. We know that. But why force him to do that?
Right, but Worthy, they don't have to do anything with Worthy for another 2 years at least. I mean, he was a rookie last year. Like, that's why I guess I'm not even acting like Xavier Worthy. Like, there's no rush on anything like that. I mean, Rashee Rice, they can even wait another year
It'll be
on.
4 for 160 by the time Worthy needs a contract.
Well, I thought the conversation was just, it wasn't like soon. It was just who would get.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying
I think the Chiefs could do both of them.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, Worthy's deal, like, what happens with Karlaftis, I don't think ultimately is going to be why they don't sign Xavier Worthy in 2 years. I think Karlaftis is a much bigger problem than that. But it's interesting to follow. We'll see. All right, let's get to it.
Trash of the day.
All right, let's pivot a little bit. I was going to do the one about the theft at this store, but let's do a story.
You just talking about Jazz Chisholm again?
No, it's not Jazz Chisholm. It's we go to India for this one. A 55-year-old grandfather of 3 stands accused of eloping with the 22-year-old fiance of his son and taking the family savings and gold jewelry with them. Just said, I'm out. Yeah, a 55-year-old father of 6 is shocked his family by running away with a 22-year-old woman from a neighboring village who was initially supposed to marry his son. According to this guy's wife, remember, he was already married, he had insisted on arranging the marriage of their son despite her protests concerning financial reasons. And
arranging it for himself.
He remained adamant about the marriage until one day when he called them from a different part of India to tell the family he had married her himself. And then he ran away with the family's life savings and jewelry. Yeah.
Well, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
Man, that is wild. So obviously the reason why he wanted this arranged marriage to continue forward is because they were already sleeping together.
No, it wasn't even
and had a plan to run away, and he wanted to keep her close so that when they eventually made their escape, it wasn't weird that the two of them were near each other for a brief period of time.
I mean, I'll say this, though. Like, it's not like I read more than family savings. It's not like there was like millions of dollars here, okay?
How much was it?
It said it was 200,000 rupees, which is $2,400.
Well, no wonder she didn't want to do the arranged marriage. She's saying, hey, man, we can't afford this. What are we paying? Like, this arrangement isn't going to work. We don't have any savings. So $2,400 USD and some jewelry. Let's say that's worth a couple of grand. He's going to throw what's he doing? You getting a new job somewhere else for $5,000?
So that's one. Here's another one. Here's another one for you along the same theme of dating and marriage.
Sure.
There's a trend, a dating technique happening in New York City, I guess. This comes from TikTok, a TikTok user named Nicole, that the dating scene in New York City, I guess, is getting so rough that women there are taking to stealing the salads of the finance bros while they're at lunch. They will steal the salad orders to find out the name of the guy that they're interested in meeting, and then they search them out on LinkedIn, playing I took your salad by mistake. Women are doing this because the guys won't just come up to them and buy them a drink in a bar, I guess. So they're basically
they're resorting to
stealing they're these salads, and they're like grabbing the salad, getting the name, and then they are looking them up on LinkedIn to find out if they have a good
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yes. That's what's happening in New York City, I guess.
Is it that bad out there in the streets, Cole?
I don't live in New York City.
But just in general, are the streets that bad?
I mean, the dating apps are rough. It's just dating apps are rough. But this is wild.
You're telling
me if I order something at Chipotle, there's people out there. You think there's people out there saying, "Hey, who's this Alex G? Let me do a quick LinkedIn search."
My problem is that
he works in radio.
This is a
Darn.
gateway theft. How much longer until someone swipes your dog and you put up signs?
Oh,
You're like,
wow.
I found your dog.
Wow.
Want a date? What? It's only one step away. Feels like it's dangerously close to that.
You think people are going to shoot their shot because they found your dog?
I don't know.
Is that what you're saying it's getting?
Yes. I'm saying if they're willing to do that, what's to stop them from swiping the person's dog and then waiting for them to say lost puppy and then be like, oh my God, I found your dog. Oh, a love story between the two of us.
I'm just saying, back in the day, we had them here in town, but I can imagine, you're camped out at a Dean and DeLuca and you're grabbing the fancy salad and you're looking at the name on the order and then you're linking LinkedIn search. I mean, that's nuts. Anyway, up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. We'll get a national perspective on this afternoon's deadline to get a long-term deal done with Trey Smith with the Chiefs on a 4 or 5 year deal. We'll see if that happens. Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated stops by.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Severe weather comes with spring and summer activity in Kansas City, which could wreak havoc on your roof. Don't trust door knockers. People come by and be like, I'll take care of it. No. Trust a reliable Kansas City company who's been in Kansas City working for 35 years and done over 30,000 roofs. That's Century Roofing. You can check them out at centuryroofingkc.com and see for yourself some of the reviews from the other people, or take what others are doing. They've been voted best of Johnson County 3 years in a row. When it comes to a big project on your house, you want the best, and that's what Century Roofing can offer for you with a free estimate that can tell you whether you need a roof replacement or roof repair work, and with the experience it requires to work with those insurance companies. So don't delay and schedule your repair or replacement today with that free estimate, again, over at Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength. Go with KC-owned and female-owned Century Roofing, centuryroofingkc.com.
The Other Place, Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Come hang out on the patio and listen to some great live music at most locations Thursday through Saturdays. Enjoy some great food and also some incredible beer specials. Make The Other Place your summer headquarters. The Other Place and theotherplace.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified pre-owned vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months, plus a $200 gas card with purchase. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
When you buy from any of the Balderson Auto Group dealerships, you're getting the support from all of our dealerships.
Like our 100 service bays, collision, and detail centers.
And our free exclusive lifetime warranty. No other auto group gives you that.
From north, central, south, the Balderston Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
Excellence, growth,
and harmony.
Go to bagkc.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Say goodbye to dealerships and private sale tire kickers when you sell your car to GiveMeTheVin.com. Now we're even better with the GiveMeTheVin.com big cash giveaway. Win $25,000 in cash every month. Sell us your car to increase your odds of winning. No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour here on Cody and Gold.
Brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net.
So the countdown is on for Trey Smith and the Chiefs to get a long-term deal after 3 o'clock our time for that to happen. We know he signed the franchise tag, so we're all waiting to see if this thing gets done. We welcome in Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated. Where are we at right now, Matt? Let's just get to it on a potential long-term deal with the Chiefs and Trey Smith.
Cody, I think we're in the same spot we've been, which is there have been talks, there have been no deal. Look, I talked to people around the situation way back when he got tagged and Joe Thuney got traded, when everybody was in Indianapolis. And I was told, listen, this is a deal that's going to get done. It's going to get done in the early summer. He's a pillar, a long-term type of piece. And then time's gone on. I think I speak for not only myself, but most reporters out there. It's been radio silence. I mean, I have texted quite a bit here out this last week, and nobody said anything, which sometimes can be a good sign. Sometimes that can be, hey, look, we don't want to leak anything to the media. If the other side's not leaking anything to the media because we feel like we're making good progress. You know, I always feel like a lot of times, the noisier the negotiation, the worse it is. Think of Chris Jones with the Katz brothers a couple of years ago, where that was about as noisy as it gets. But that being said, we're sitting here now, 3.5 hours away from the deadline, and there has not been a deal announced. And so, it's coming right down to it.
When you look at is it still, do you think, and I guess this probably goes back because, again, I think it has been radio silence for most people trying to reach out on this, do you think it's coming down to the 4 or 5 year thing? Because the rest of it makes too much sense as far as the dollar amount per year, Matt, I think seems set in stone. Like, I don't see much of movement in there on either side unless the Chiefs really think they can convince someone to do something that doesn't make sense.
It's a really bizarre let me rephrase. If they don't get this deal done, it's very bizarre, and they deserve to be criticized for it. Because quite honestly, when they traded Joe Thuney, you have to sign Trey Smith now.
Yeah.
This can't be that you traded Joe Thuney so you could tag and then let Trey Smith walk out the door. Like that makes zero sense. And so, look, a couple of years ago with the Tyreek Hill situation, that whole contract negotiation blew up because of the Devontae Adams trade. And then Chris Jones, that went on and on and on because of, frankly, two reasons. One, a lot of D tackles signed in the interim, and the price went up. And the other thing that happened was, quite frankly, the Katz brothers are smaller agents, and he was kind of the golden goose for them as to whether or not they could get a huge payday. The agents for Trey Smith are Jimmy Sexton and Torrey Dandy, who are two of the biggest agents in the world. Okay, they're not going to be holding the Chiefs up for 8 cents. Like that's not going to happen. This is going to be about, hey, look, let's get a good deal, let's get a fair deal, obviously the most for our client. But the thing that's interesting about this is let's be just realistic about it. There has been no guard movement this offseason that would affect anything with Trey Smith. Nothing. I mean, Will Fry's got 5 and 87. Great. Will Fry's isn't Trey Smith. So it feels like this is pretty straightforward. This is going to be about $24 million a year. The guaranteed money is probably going to be around $65 million, give or take, based on other contracts. I just don't see what the hold has been. To your point, 4 or 5 years, even that, like, if they were to give him a 5th year, none of that money is going to be guaranteed. So why would that be that big of a – like, all the guaranteed money is going to be in the first 3 years. So it's bizarre that this has been this difficult for them to hammer out.
Everything you've said there, Matt, in about Joe Thuney as well and being traded is why I still believe it gets done, because I just feel like you basically backed yourself into a corner to get it done once you moved on from Thuney, once you have Trey Smith who actually signed the franchise tag, because we all know if this plays out into the season, all right, he's playing on the tag, and then next year, a second franchise tag, they're not going to do it, but that'd be $28 million. So what the dollar amount would be next year if you didn't get a long-term deal done, or if you decided, I guess, to tag and trade or something at that point in time.
Right. And next year, so if they don't sign him, yes, to your point, it's going to be one of three things. He hits the market, and now you're bidding against the entire league. Good luck with that. Or you tag and trade him, and you lose the player. And a tag and trade, it's not like they're going to get some insane pickback.
Right.
He's a guard who's going to cost record-setting money. What are you going to get? Maybe, if you're fortunate, a third, maybe a fourth. Like, it's going to be a mid-round pick. Or you have to sign him, and to sign him at that point, it's the end of the season. He's not facing risk of injuries. He's sitting there going, well, if you're going to keep me from hitting the open market, you're going to pay me an obscene amount of money. And he'd be right to do that. And I guess other than the fourth option, I agree, I don't think they'd do it. But they could tag him again. And now you've blown up your entire offseason because you've got a $28 million cap hold, and you can't go out and improve the team any other meaningful way. So, look, I just think if you're the Chiefs here, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to not sign this guy, let this play out, and then next year either lose him or have to battle to the death to bring him back. But now instead of being 24 a year, it's 26 a year, it's 27 a year, whatever the case may be as the cap continues to go up. So this is a perplexing one. I understood it with Hill because of the Adams trade. I understood it with Jones because of all the factors I mentioned. This seems easy. Even though it's a big contract, this should not be that hard of a negotiation.
When you look at what, and I agree to that. I guess for some, they're like, well, what's the big deal? The cap's already set this year. He's already under the cap, or the team can afford to pay him this year, whatever.
Right.
For that, but like the long-term plan when they tagged him, Matt, is somebody who follows the NFL teams. I think that this just has a ripple effect that they don't like. Less money to carry over next year. Gotta wait to pay Trent McDuffie. Now he's more expensive. Like, I just think I think the ripple effect is stronger than just, well, we can afford him to play under the cap, because that was not the original plan.
Yes. And also, too, for anyone who feels that way, look, I understand it. It is hurting you going forward. You are going to eat way more money going forward, or you're going to lose one of your best players. One of those two things is going to happen. So, and to your point, yes, McDuffie and Karlaftis, I mean, this is year 4 for them. They got the 5th-year options paid up. But, like, you're going to have to pay those guys. Certainly McDuffie. I would imagine, Karlaftis, I would think they would want to retain on a second contract. Well, Gregory Rousseau just got $480, and guess what? Karlaftis is better than Gregory Rousseau. So you're probably, if you sign Karlaftis tomorrow, he's probably $490, $492. They've got to bring some of these guys back. Now, look, they're going to open up some money with Kelsey here. They're going to open up some money. Tranquil's a guy they could cut after this year, depending on how he looks. There are going to be avenues where they're going to start to open up money, but then, like always in the NFL, okay, great, you opened up money. Well, you know who else needs to get paid? Rasheed Rice or Xavier Worthy or whoever. We'll see how Simmons plays and him and down the line. I just think if you're the Chiefs, the other thing of this too is the optics of it. Everyone, the last time they saw you, watched your quarterback become part of the Superdome turf because you couldn't block anybody. And your answer to that is to not sign this guy and trade away Joe Thuney. Even if that's not their reality and there's more to it, and there always is more to it, that is a brutal look, especially when your quarterback signed a contract that is unprecedented so that you have the financial flexibility to handle business. It would be a bad look for the Chiefs.
We're talking to Matt Verderame here on 96.5, the fan. He's NFL staff writer over at Sports Illustrated, also the Matt Verderame Show on Patreon. You mentioned a couple names, Karlaftis, and you mentioned Rasheed Rice, and just looking ahead to the future a little bit here, what do you actually think a deal would look like for a Trent McDuffie, knowing that Sauce Gardner still is sitting out there waiting for his deal as well?
Oh, listen, I mean, J.C. Horn got paid 4 years and $100 million. And with all due respect to J.C. Horn, he's hurt all the time, and he's not nearly as good as Trent McDuffie. I mean, I really think by the time McDuffie signs, I think it's going to be close to, if not $30 million a year. I think it's going to be 4 and 115. And, I mean, I'd have to look at the guy I have in front of me, $75 million guaranteed, $70 million guaranteed. Like, it's going to be a ton. Because if you're McDuffie, you also have the ability to go into the front office and go, look, not only am I great in the slot, I'm great outside. I can play anywhere. I'm a great tackler in the run game. I can blitz. I mean, look, I would make an argument. Tan and McDuffie are the two best cornerbacks in football. And McDuffie is maybe the most valuable because of all that versatility. He's the only corner in the league who can do that, who can just anywhere you want to line up on the field, he's dominant. He can completely shut you down. But he's going to get – I mean, look, that's it's because they're in different draft years, you don't think about it. But, like, Rice has 2 years left. McDuffie has 2 years left. Karlaftis has 2 years left. I mean, you were just talking about all of a sudden, like, hey, you better start getting ahead of some of that. Or you can tag one of them. You can't tag them all. And, yeah, I think McDuffie's going to reset the market when he gets paid. And if it takes them longer, a year or two from now, yeah, I think he's going to approach $30 million a year.
Alex and I will be out of training camp starting 1 week from today. So do you believe the Chiefs when they say Joshua Simmons is going to be ready for day one of camp? Because if he's actually ready and practicing in full by then, we think he's not a lock, but, should win the job at left tackle.
I think he's going to, which is a stark departure from how I felt back in April when I was one of the people who I said I wouldn't have taken him because I was just like, look, he's 320 pounds off a torn patella tendon. Like, that's a potential disaster. And there was a lot of talk back then around the draft. Like, hey, look, he may not be ready to play until late August, September. His recovery has been tremendous. And I give him a lot of credit for that because that doesn't happen unless you are working day and night in your recovery to get back. I think he is going to be there day one. And if he is, you're right. I mean, he's got to be considered the leader in the clubhouse. I mean, Jalen Moore has more experience. He's only started 12 NFL games, and none of which are in Andy Reid's offense. So you're kind of starting from the same spot in that sense. And, of course, I think they would privately tell you, look, they'd all for him to win the job, right? I mean, he's the future there. I honestly think the bigger question at tackle, let's assume he's healthy. Let's assume that he's ready to go. If they get to, like, week 6, week 7, and Jawan Taylor is struggling the way he has at times in Kansas City, would they bench him and play Simmons and Moore? Would they do it? I mean, Andy's usually really slow to do stuff like that. But, Taylor's basically gone after this unless he has just an unbelievable performance.
Right.
Would they say, you know what, our two best tackles are Moore and Simmons, we're going to play them. And that's it. And that's what we're going to do. I'll be very curious to see how both Moore and Simmons play here in the start of camp and into the preseason.
One final one for you. Rasheed Rice, by all accounts, health-wise, ahead of schedule, going to be ready for day one. of camp and everything, but off the field, we have a civil court case date, I guess, in January. Still nothing on the criminal side of things. Cody and I both just think there's no suspension happening this year.
I don't think so either. I haven't talked to anybody who does think there's one coming. I mean, obviously, look, it's the criminal justice system. There could be a plea deal, and then all of a sudden it's resolved, and then the NFL goes, okay, now it's resolved. We can make a judgment. But yeah, as of right now, unless something changes, they're not going to suspend him right now. They're going to wait to let it play out. This is obviously taking quite a long time. The civil trial is due for mid-January. I believe it's right after the divisional round. I would suspect if the Chiefs are in the play, you're probably going to get that moved back and delayed till after the season's over, and then go from there. But yeah, as it all sits right now, yeah, I don't think there's any reason to think that he's going to be getting suspended in 2025.
No, I wish I could disagree, but like at this point, the longer it goes, even if he gets suspended next year, I feel like the games go down every year he's not suspended. So like,
yeah,
if it's next year to be 2.
Yeah, I agree because truthfully, let's look. It's an ugly truth, but it's the truth. The NFL is a business. The NFL wants to protect its image and protect its reputation. They want this thing to go away as much as humanly possible. I mean, the Chiefs are the most public team in the league right now. They're on Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. For anybody who doubts that, like they're on everywhere. The league does not want to be sitting here talking about Rashee Rice being suspended. So if this goes to, let's just say, this next offseason, and they settle it, the NFL is going to just go, you know what? Like, let's just the least amount of attention to this as possible is the best. Like, let's just couple games, keep it moving, and the outrage isn't there as much because it was so many years ago. Yeah, I would agree. I think the longer it goes, yeah, probably the shorter the suspension.
Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated, the Matt Verderame Show on Patreon as well. Appreciate it, man. We'll see if we make it up to St. Joe. I know you've gone in the past, so maybe we'll see you in a couple weeks.
I plan to be there.
There we go. All right, there you go. Matt Verderame. Make him show up on the 100-degree day on Tuesday. No, we'll see Matt up there.
That's what it's going to be on Tuesday, 100?
People know he's based out of Chicago area. He does his camp tours and makes the rounds. He'll be up in St. Joe at some point, too. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see him there. I don't know.
Everybody seemingly is on the exact same page with the Trey Smith situation, which is like, when you traded away Joe Thuney, you kind of have to get this thing done. You can't you
made your intentions clear.
Bad consequences if you don't get it done, and they have till 3:00.
I guess largely it just doesn't make sense. The plan all makes sense up to that point. Look, maybe you can question the plan, or maybe you would have kept Thuney and extended him instead, or anything else. But we're going young at guard. We have traded away for a small thing, Joe Thuney, who we weren't going to continue to pay. We now have Trey Smith, have Creed Humphrey, hopefully took our left tackle of the future. That'll mean we have to solve left guard and right tackle over the next couple of years, hopefully with Kingsley. The plan all made sense. Here's how we're going to figure it out. We're going to keep the strength in the middle. We're going to start over at left because we knew we had to. As a result of pay, we're going to start over at left guard too. But don't worry, right side's the same, including our long-term answer at guard, Trey Smith. And you had signaled to him, his team, your fan base, yourselves, that was the plan. And this doesn't seem like a complicated deal. This is not do we pay Kirk Cousins? He's clearly one of the best guards in football. The number is the number, and you knew that number when you made the deal. No new guard's been signed. Nothing's changed. The guaranteed money, all these things are very easy. You give him 3% more than the last guy, just like everybody does, and that's the number. Like, if you weren't willing to do that, it's still so confusing to me. I really wonder what would have happened had the only reason they were able to franchise tag him is because the cap went up so much. They never thought franchising was a thing that they were going to do. Would he have been a Chief, or would somebody have offered him too much money? He just wouldn't have been a Chief. Had that never gone down, I don't think he's a Chief.
Yeah, I think he would have got more money on the open market. And that was why, like, okay. And then when they tagged him, like, okay, they're going to get it felt like, oh, they're going to get a deal done quick. And then he signed it quick. And then first around the draft, we heard, oh, was agents really busy with the draft, so we're just going to be patient. No, it's because they probably weren't all that close. And so they said, let's just wait. And here we are. We're inside of a couple hours now till the deadline. And I'll still maintain, I think they get it done. Mainly because they recognize the consequences to not getting it done too. And I feel like they're smart enough to recognize that. And that's why I'll still stick with the fact that I believe it gets done. If not, I can promise you we'll be on at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I'll be saying it was a massive mistake to trade Joe Thuney.
I agree. I mean, there'd be no side to it. The plan makes sense if you do it the other way.
Yep.
I've wavered a little, as you know. I'd been like 80% sure that this thing was happening the entire time, 80, 90% sure. I'm down to like 65. The silence is still somehow giving me hope. To Matt's point, normally the noisier the negotiation, the more you hear. Like, by now, if the Chiefs are not getting it done, you'd get some report from Ian Rappaport being like, what I'm hearing is that Joe Thuney's being a little unreasonable with the number of years he wants. Chiefs really feel like a 4-year deal is fair. You know, you'd start hearing those things. We haven't heard any of that stuff.
913-586-7965. From the 816, different point of view on this. Someone says, completely disagree. Think of how many offensive linemen are coming out in the next 2 years of the draft. Trey Smith is fantastic. Do you really want your money at guard? Look, Trey Smith is young enough that there's a chance in about 2 years he is clearly the best guard in football. Okay? He's not right now because Joe Thuney is still that, I would argue.
Until he's knocked off his pedestal, he is.
I would say when you have all the other issues on your offensive line right now, they haven't stabilized, you lock up the interior of your offensive line. You protect your billion-dollar quarterback. That's why I would say that. I agree with you. At left guard, yeah, you can keep playing the draft game at left guard if you sign your right guard. You don't want to be playing the draft game while you're at left tackle, at right tackle, at left guard, and at right guard. That's basically what they would be doing if they don't have Trey Smith locked up long-term. They would need to still find a long-term answer at right guard, still a long-term answer at left guard, depending on what Kingsley looks like this year. We think maybe Josh Simmons, they found something, but we haven't seen the guy play. We haven't been at training camp yet. He hadn't even practiced there yet.
If you'd asked me this time last year, I thought they found something in Kingsley.
And then right tackle, everybody pretty much agrees that Juwan Taylor will not be the left tackle in 2026. That it'll be somebody else. Maybe it's Jalen Moore. I don't know. But it probably, because of the finances, will not be Juwan Taylor. At some point, you have to lock down certain positions. And guard, while he'll be the highest paid guard in football, it still is not on the same level in about 2 years. If you get the deal done now, in 2 years, you'll look back at Trey Smith's deal. It's a lot of money, but compared to other positions, compared to even eventually guards, it won't seem as detrimental, I guess, as maybe it does right now.
I guess part of the trouble I'm having with it is the fact that everybody on the text line is like, it's guard, who cares? They can just let him walk. I don't care. And I'm like, considering this team's recent trouble with offensive line, this is your stance?
I think, I don't know I wonder if it's people's, not concern, but it feels like, because we talked about this a couple months ago, that the Refuge has done a great job of drafting ahead of the curve of, getting players ready to replace others. It feels like we're teetering on they're going to have to let the guy walk because they're going to have to let Karlaftis walk, or now McDuffie, he's going to reset the market. Trey Smith and all, like, are you able to pay Trey Smith top money, restructure Mahomes' deal to get him paid more money again, pay McDuffie top tier money, and still be able to pay Worthy or Rice and try to make sure that you have all of the pieces where you need to have the most success?
I think the answer is yes. Look, if the text line's saying, well, would you rather have Trey Smith now or have McDuffie? And you're like, well, look, if you're choosing, I only get
Trent
one
McDuffie,
player on the team,
obviously.
it's Trent McDuffie.
You can do both. Right. You can do both.
I don't think this is Rosemary's Baby version of the NFL players. I think they can both be, or not Rosemary's Baby, Sophie's Choice. Going with the wrong choice. When you get in there, I don't know. I don't think that's the thing we're stuck in. Do you? No. Like, I think that both people can be signed.
Yeah.
And you're fine.
Like, I guess I would say, Drew, you were asking the question, we don't need to get into a Bengals conversation, please, but you asked the question, can they pay Trey Smith, Trent McDuffie, and Karlaftis or Worthy? And I would say, you were telling us it's not a problem to pay Trey Hendrickson, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. So obviously it's not a problem.
People,
so
I think that there's
no, we're talking about three. They're not
the Chiefs. Talking about for the Chiefs?
Chiefs are not paying Trey Smith, Trent McDuffie, Karlaftis, and Worthy, and Rice, if that's what you're asking. No, they're not paying
that's
5
where I was
players.
going with this.
Yeah,
but the odd man out would be Karlaftis in this equation.
But to me, it's crazy. Like, no, it could. Well, maybe it's Worthy really in that scenario. I don't have to let Karlaftis go.
Do you think it would be better to keep Karlaftis than Xavier Worthy?
Yeah, yes, depending on the number. But the issue is, I don't think that's the decision they're going to be making because one's going to be in a different stratosphere financially.
I guess I don't understand. As bad as offensive line play is in the NFL, like for instance, like Drew. Again, this doesn't be a Bengals conversation. He does nothing but say.
Offensive line stinks.
Then why pay wide receivers, right? It's like what offensive linemen actually matter. This isn't a Cincinnati thing, but like
because of
pay Trey Smith because offensive line matters.
You know why? Because of the same thing that Matt Verderame said in April or in February when you guys had him on then. It's the same exact thing. Joe Burrow and those weapons. I had to cough for a second. I was in the middle of a cough. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins overcame a offensive line that 3 of the guys are not in the league anymore to beat the Chiefs and go to the Super Bowl and almost win the game. Again, a lot of almost, whatever. The Chiefs, I think, for them, Patrick Mahomes can do the same thing, where even if the offensive line is poor, if you have Rice and Worthy, Patrick Mahomes can still tear up the league just as much and be as great, and the defense can still be as good.
He overcame poor offensive line play to go to the Super Bowl last year.
Correct.
But no, he has 3 All-Pros on the line. 3 All-Pros of the 5 are All-Pro players. It is vastly different than what Joe Burrow and the Bengals had when they went to the Super Bowl. Trey Smith is an All-Pro right guard. Creed Humphrey is an All-Pro center. Joe Tooney is an All-Pro guard. For them to have struggles, the struggles are not the same because you had 3 All-Pros. I think it's vastly different.
The point was not about comparing the Chiefs and Cincinnati. It was just that you were saying, how can they afford to pay these guys? And I was just saying, you're telling me that it's not.
Afford to pay a lot
you were just saying it wasn't a problem for Cincy to pay Trey Hendrickson, who they still haven't paid, by the way, but Trey Hendrickson, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. I'm telling you, then the Chiefs, if they pay Trey Smith, Trent McDuffie, they can pay another player. That's all I'm saying.
Patrick Mahomes, I believe in Patrick Mahomes more than anybody else does because I think Patrick Mahomes with 1 less All-Pro guard is going to be just fine.
Well, I also thought Joe Burrow would be fine with 1 less Pro Bowl wide receiver, but sometimes you got to do more with less.
We're late.
All right.
Up next. Let's get to what's
I
trending.
believe Mahomes more than anybody.
No, you don't
does.
because
yes,
you're trying to. No, I have Mahomes number 1. You have Joe Burrow, I think, number 1 in your mind
deep
down.
With 1 less All-Pro guard. It'll be okay, guys. He's that good.
This is a
Spoken
wild
like
take.
a Cincinnati fan.
This is a wild take after I said that Joe Burrow should win with less over T. Higgins' contract.
All right. We're going to talk about the home run derby, guys, and then we're going to talk about somebody that might want to get back into coaching next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
If you love finding the deal and a bargain brings you bliss, the Hy-Vee 5-day sidewalk sale is cause for celebration. This Wednesday through Sunday, stock up and save big on dozens of pantry staples like Roma pizzas, 4 for $10, Pepsi 24 packs $11.99, Frito-Lay's chips just $1.99, Gatorade 8-pack bottles just $5.99, and Sunbelt granola bars 4 for $10. Hurry to the huge 5-day sidewalk sale this week only at Hy-Vee.
Even though it's summertime, everybody's still busy, and that's where Hy-Vee Market Grill comes in. They've got the best dining value in town. Every day, they've got a meal deal from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And for $8 per person or less, you can treat the whole family to dinner, like smoked chicken Monday, pork chop Tuesday, cheeseburger and fries on Wednesday, and chicken enchiladas on Friday. And don't forget steak Thursday with a perfectly seasoned steak, garlic mashed potatoes, and sweet corn for $12. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's only at Hy-Vee Market Grill.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
You know, I couldn't stop talking about it to my family and friends. My knees are my trouble spot. But for me to tell them now that I'm doing so much better, they were amazed, and I've been amazed.
QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies. Yes, it is amazing how these non-surgical treatments deliver joint pain relief for patients like Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor.
Each week, I just started noticing that I could sleep and not have pain. I could play pickleball. I could do a CrossFit exercise routine.
QC Kinetics revitalizes your joints so you can move again without the pain pills or invasive surgery.
You know, I'm 60 years old and I want to stay competitive as long as I can. And QC has allowed me to do that. They did me right and really made a difference in my life.
Book your free consultation with QC Kinetics today and experience the difference for yourself.
I like to go, move, move, move.
QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Hi, I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Make history this summer by attending Kansas City Chiefs training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri. There's still time to join me. For more details, go to stjomo.com. stjomo.com. In St. Joe, you'll discover 150 years of history where the Pony Express began and Jesse James ended. Experience history, make history. Go to stjomo.com. Produced in cooperation with the Missouri Division of Tourism.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Tiger, dragon, do you have what it takes to win? Be fierce like the tiger, strong like the dragon. Only the brave will survive.
Yeah, that's not how these games work. With Tiger and Dragon from the Kansas Lottery, you can win up to $125,000 or $100K in a second chance drawing.
You are weak.
Ouch. It's not a video game. It's better. Play Tiger and Dragon instant games from the Kansas Lottery.
Let's play.
Yeah, that works. See kslottery.com for details.
Rawhide Harley sales event is happening now. Save up to $5,000 on new 2023 Harleys. Rawhide Harley needs to make room for more bikes. Save up to $5,000 on a new 2023 Harley at Rawhide Harley.
See dealer for details. Hidden amounts differ by 2023 models available.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Well, we start with the home run derby last night. Cal Raleigh, who leads the big leagues in homers, won the home run derby. It doesn't always happen. It's not that simple. You know, if you're like, well, of course.
The favorite.
Of course he was going to. No,
sometimes.
sometimes it happens, but not all the time. Cal Raleigh won it over Junior Caminero, the talented young player there with the Tampa Bay Rays. So the American League now kind of breaking the streak there. 7 of the last 10 have been won by the National League. Now, the AL had more representatives last night than the NL did. But tonight, All-Star game. The Royals have 4 All-Stars. We'll hopefully see all 4 get in the game. We're talking about Bobby Wood Jr. He'll definitely get in the game. Chris Bubich, Michael Garcia, Carlos Estevez.
Garcia's probably the longest of long shots to get in.
Really? See, I think there's a chance Carlos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, pitchers, less guys.
I
Okay,
think there's
fair.
a chance maybe they just run out of corner. It all depends on game flow and a million
Number of
other
runs
things
scored.
and everything like that. But the All-Star game is tonight if you were really bored. The American League, -102, National League, -116. It's Skeens versus Skubal, which that's fun. That's
in a
fun.
normal regular season game, very interested in that matchup. In an All-Star game,
I want to see the Miz pitch.
I got to be honest. I mean, I watched a good chunk of the Home Run Derby last night. I don't know how much of the All-Star game I'm going to catch. Something interesting better happen in order for me to start tuning in immediately.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
it's good background TV though.
Yeah,
Again.
yeah. But if I'm trying to catch up on a show,
What's the show you're watching right now?
Currently, I'm watching a show called Taskmaster of all things.
Taskmaster?
Yeah. I'm watching some old seasons that I had caught up.
People just complete a bunch of tasks? That sounds really thrilling.
Honestly, it is an incredible show, and I feel like more people should watch it. It is stand-up comedians, which I know you're a big fan of stand-up comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
They compete against each other in tasks, but they're designed to frustrate you, right?
Okay.
They've got a bunch of rules or things that are meant to screw you up, thus making it funny.
Okay.
Jason Mantzoukas was in the most recent season. Do you remember him from the league and some other stuff? Very, very funny.
Okay.
But maybe that. Who knows? Maybe I'll watch the All-Star game. We'll see. Next up on What's Trending, no Trey Smith deal yet. For those who are just tuning into the show, the deadline to get a long-term deal done for this season is at 3 o'clock Central Time, so just 3 hours away from now. If they do not get a deal done, he'll play the entire year under the franchise tag, which he's already signed, so I would expect him at training camp next week. The question is whether or not he'll get a long-term deal done in the next 3 hours. He's the only player who is on a franchise tag.
Elsewhere on What's Trending, Fox 4 had an article out last night. I believe it was Malik Jackson, a reporter, saying the Royals stadium standoff. Sources slam KC leaders over lack of vision. Multiple sources close to the situation telling Fox 4 they are growing increasingly upset with KC Mayor Quentin Lucas, as well as Jackson County Executive Frank White, accusing both of failing to lead at a critical moment. This kind of fits with where things seem to be trending, which is that nobody actually thinks either the Chiefs or Royals are going to come to a decision anytime soon.
No, 2026. The mayor responded to a tweet of mine this morning saying that is a reasonable timeline. It's July, and I got to wait till 2026. Just feels like forever from now. Next up on What's Trending, the KC Current will take on Corinthians SC in the Teal Cup final tonight at CPKC Stadium. If you're looking to head out to the park, they'll have a match today. They don't play another regular season match till August, mid-August, at least on that end. But you can still catch the KC Current take on Corinthians SC tonight in the Teal Cup final.
That is What's Trending here on Cody and Gold. Thinking about what to eat today, where to go. A great spot, of course. It's 3rd Street Social, part of the Summit Hospitality Group, the official taco partner here on Cody and Gold. 3 locations, South Plaza, Northland, Lee Summit. 3 locations that have $2.50 tacos today, starting at 3 o'clock.
I'm starting to wonder if my next move ends me up in Lee Summit, because the previous 2, I've lived close to Summit Hospitality restaurants both times.
You and Dusty could be neighbors.
In Waldo and then now in the Northland. And then, I'll just go move.
Just move next door to Dusty.
Do you think that would go well?
What do you
is that
mean?
a dangerous circumstance?
I mean, what do you mean?
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how that would. Dusty loves to mow. I could probably pay him to mow my grass, so that's an immediate good start.
He'd probably do it if you paid him.
That's an immediate good start. I'm willing to help in some other areas, but I like that start. I like the part where he might help in the mowing. I'm just trying to decide. I feel like we'd be a bad influence on each other.
Oh, okay.
I am a.
You guys are similar age. I believe you're 40. Yeah. I think his birthday's coming up. He turns not 40, but he's getting close.
I don't know exactly how old he is. Drew, when's you're
38,
about to turn
39.
30, right?
Drew's.
Yep, October.
Remember the last time we had a 30th birthday on this show?
Yes, I do.
We did shots. We had fun, Drew. You want to have a little party?
Yeah.
For the 30th?
I mean, we can have some fun, yeah.
Do you have big plans yet? A trip? Dinner?
That is, it's being planned, I think, but it's not. I'm not involved in the planning. I think it's supposed to be a surprise. Sort of. Yeah.
Not that big of a surprise. He knows it's being planned.
I know it's being planned, but I have no idea what's going on. Like I don't know.
Wow, you're 30. That's a big one, Drew.
Yeah.
No more Chinese buffets for you.
He didn't learn
Once
that
you turn 30. That's something you can do in your 20s, man. Once you turn 30, it's out the window.
Man.
Oh, boy.
Honestly, I never really got hung up on those. I didn't think that hard about 40. And I'll be 41 here. I don't know, a couple weeks.
In September. That's
a month
just
and
a
half.
number, Cody. It's all right.
September. Actual Labor Day this year. You know? So I get my birthday off by default.
Nice.
Which is pretty nice. I don't even have to take it off.
September 1st, Kansas will launch sports betting.
That's my birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll never forgive them for airing that as part of That's my birthday. We talked about it for like 15 minutes on the show, Drew.
Yeah.
We can. I don't even know what day it lands on, actually.
Oh, yours?
I think I worked on my birthday last year, too.
It's October what?
21st.
I know.
It looks like
what's the rule in this? Because
Yours
we're
is
such
on a Tuesday, yeah.
Because it's such a close show.
Mine's
Should
on a
I
Monday.
should I know the exact date, or can I just know like October
For what
for
now?
Drew?
Oh,
You
just
don't
the
need
month.
to-
Yeah, just the
you
month.
don't need to
a
know-
rough idea.
I just
A
didn't
rough
know,
I
like,
don't
idea.
need to know the day. I'm not gonna. If you didn't know it was my birthday, it doesn't
Doesn't matter. I at
to
least
me.
try to be
It's
courteous
fine.
enough. I try to go one step
I'm not gonna
beyond.
lose it because you didn't know what day my birthday was. I'm not gonna.
I know, but we
freak
work
out.
in very close proximity. And with anybody that I work with enough or know well enough, I try to go a step beyond just sticking it on their Facebook wall. That's like the lowest effort happy birthday.
Yeah, if I know the person well, I'll try to send the text.
Yes.
But I'll
Correct.
admit, there's
Yeah, I'm
sometimes
there as
where
well.
I definitely have missed out. Like, I'll have to, there are times where the Facebook notification definitely saves me a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like family members, I know those, or I have it in my phone, and that's a different thing. Like I had one of my sisters. It's very easy. I know I'll never forget because we're a twin. So I know I'm good on that one for the rest of my
well,
life.
then you can't forget the other sisters. You
Well,
only have to remember
hers is
one.
also a one that's not hard to remember or forget. Unfortunately, she wasn't born that year, but the date she was born on, September 11th. So I'm not. So those are two dates that I'm just not forgetting.
I can already tell you
Never
guys.
forget,
what-
some would say.
Yeah.
So a couple of years. So when I first got here, I wanted to celebrate my birthday and invite everybody at the station. It didn't end up working out for a variety of different reasons. But I whether this will be separate from what my family's planning to do, but I think there's a place that we recently talked about that I wanted to celebrate my birthday at.
Place we recently talked about.
Twin Peaks?
No.
Fantastic. As you would say.
It was not. No, it's not.
Chuck's
that.
Arcade?
It's not Chuck's
Oh, you wanna go to
Arcade.
Chuck's?
It's Dave and Buster's.
Oh,
Fantastic place.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Similar vibe.
So well, because we didn't know about Chuck's Arcade 2 years ago, but hey, I'm down to everybody. We can come out, have a good time. We can do shots here. I don't care.
Smiles shots, too.
and glory holes. Fantastic.
We'll have plenty of time
Relax.
left on that. All right, last night was the home run derby. Which were your favorite parts? Cal Rowley and everyone enjoying saying the big dumper for the entire time.
Yeah.
The kid robbing a homer. Jazz Chisholm failing miserably. I'll give you a hint. That was my favorite part. Vinny taking over Twitter for an evening. The tie being broken. Felt like it had a lot of juice. For an
It started a
all-star
little
game
slow.
event, I felt like we got a lot of talking points, a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, it started slow, and then once I switched over to the ESPN2 broadcast, it was better. The ESPN broadcast was a little rough. Just the way they did the split screen and the cameras were like just moving all around. It was kind of hard to follow the actual event. ESPN2, the StatCast, normally I don't watch that one, but that made it a little bit easier to consume. And then the first moment where I started to really get into it was when O'Neal Cruz hit that 513-foot home run to right field. I mean, that was absurd. We knew he had the potential for that power. So that was the one. And then Jazz Chisholm almost getting skunked and only having 3 homers was enjoyable for Kansas City fans, I think.
Okay, so as a Kansas Cityan, and that alone, the Jazz Chisholm part, because he sucks, and he's picking fights with Michael just this year. Of course I was rooting against him. So, yes, it brought me joy to watch Jazz Chisholm fail. The cufflinks I wore at my wedding were from a ball thrown at an All-Star game to Billy Butler the year that he got snubbed for the home run derby.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, they choose the people who have a connection to the team in the city in which they play or the area in which they happen. For the same reason, we're happy to see Matt Olson take a few swings, cool story, or the people who lived or like Cal Raleigh, who grew up outside the city. Not he also just happens to lead the league in home runs, but like those things work out kind of in conjunction. The Jazz Chisholm one brought me great joy. But I will say, other than it's a little too long. Like, it's just a little
3
too
hours for that is a bit much.
It's a little too long. And honestly, what we're talking about here is the first round drags. Like, when I got to watch 8 guys go up there and swing, and you got to take a few minutes in between, it's too long. Either have them hit for less time, or just reduce it to 6. Have the top 4 still advance. I thought the knockout rounds are fun. I want that part of it. Just make it 6 instead of 8. Cut this thing by 30 minutes and move on.
And new rule, if you hit a home run and it gets robbed by a kid in the outfield at the Derby, it should just be an out. It really should.
Crazy. No freaking way. No way. Oh, no way.
What are you doing?
Look at the kid on the bottom. Like, Andrew Jones in left center field. Oh, no.
Oh, his life has changed.
That kid saw his moment to rob a big leaguer of a home run, and he did it, and he absolutely is going to have that memory the rest of his life. They reviewed it, which was hilarious, and they said, no, it's a home run. But honestly, if you can go up and climb the fence a little and rob a big leaguer at the Derby, that's an out, baby.
The best part, not the unspoken, but the best part of that, too, or what makes it even better is his friend, clearly his friend or another guy with him, immediately turns around and is clearly giving him the business. Like, you can't do
Threw
that.
his hands up.
Yeah, basically, hey, guys,
dude!
They told us before, you can't climb the fence, man. Like, what are you doing?
That part of it just really made me laugh. The idea that, like, immediately somebody calling him out on it. But I think it should be an out. Because I can't believe more kids don't get hurt. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. We put 15-year-olds on a field in which guys like O'Neal Cruz are hitting the ball 120 miles an hour. What if it's just straight? What if some kid's glove doesn't get up fast enough in left field? How long till some kid gets, like, knocked unconscious out there before they're like, we don't put people out
At least
there
they have most of the kids towards the back. Like, they're not, right on the edge of the outfield. They're further back. So, you're not dealing with, like, hey, they're not a kid playing first base, okay? You know what I mean?
He's
like,
not in the hot corner.
Yeah, I mean, but you're right.
Vinny,
Unfortunately, you're correct, though, that it will take one day for somebody to seriously get hurt for them to potentially change it. But I don't want to think about the negative side of that right now because that was a ton of fun last night. And
good event.
There was
Homer Derby works.
And look, Cal Raleigh was the favorite to win it. Junior Caminero, it is wild if you're him. The prize is $1 million, which is not a small chunk
he
of change.
He makes probably $750.
He makes less than that a season right now. He will eventually. The way he's trending, he's going to make a lot of money at some point. But Junior Caminero, he would have made more money off the Derby last night than his entire salary for the Rays this year. So he's probably like, oh my gosh, I was that close. I ran into Cal freaking Raleigh, who only advanced because of literally an inch on StatCast, which there's no way the margin of error is within that.
They're trying to tell you that they have it down to a billionth of an inch. Get
no
the hell
chance.
out of here. That's just a lie. I don't know if it's a lie, but it's like, it's not an accurate estimate. Just have them do a swing off. 3 swings, most home runs, right? Or 3 outs. I don't care.
Honestly,
it could be 3 swings, 5 swings.
I just think it should be you get each one pitch. Whoever hits it the furthest. that's it. It's
fine.
One pitch.
Whoever hits it the furthest, whether you ground it out or you
better
put it
swing.
Into the
You better swing. There's no. You both are swinging on this. You have to swing on this next pitch. Hope your guy that's throwing it to you is going to throw it well. Sorry.
I don't know, man. Cal Raleigh's own dad plunked him.
Yeah,
in the home run derby.
That whole scenario was cool though.
Him.
His dad,
he is kidding the derby.
That was neat though. What he did though, he had his dad throwing him the ball. His brother, his much younger brother, his brother was catching. That's pretty cool though. You had father, son, and brother. Yeah, and his brother was enjoying the moment.
His brother kept framing the pitches, and it was really making me laugh because you're like, what the hell are you framing a pitch for?
He's having a good time. It's his brother.
Yeah. Oh, he's just doing stuff outside of it to have fun, which I agree. I know we're getting ready to talk about a coaching thing here in a second, but can I just point out that even though the Chargers are a joke franchise for the most part and kind of have been, their uniform's just going to make them look like a bigger joke. I know that it's too yellow.
The powder blue's good.
No. They got a new one out.
I like it. I think it's all right. They're throwing it back to the LT days.
This looks way beyond LT. This thing's like a highlighter.
The powder blue pants to go with the team's primary home powder blue. These ones?
The powder blue are incredible. That's not the jersey I'm talking about.
They're doing more than just that one. Are they doing multiple alternates?
Look at this alternate.
Is that one yellow? A yellow jersey? Okay, yeah. Then that's
one, no.
For those who want to see it here on the video stream, I'll show it to you now. I'm not talking about the powder blues. That's clearly a great look.
I saw one on the...
Schefter sent out Chargers new gold. I obviously have...
Is it only the gold?
I don't know. It just says new gold. It just looks like... Yeah, someone said it looks like the Savannah Bananas color. You just stole their scheme. Like bright gold.
That's the alternate.
And blue.
I see it on the Chargers Twitter account right now. Charger Power.
Like it's supposed to look more of like a lightning bolt color.
You're saying this is what if the Chiefs did yellow, this is what it would look like.
Yes. It's actually a good reminder. The Chiefs should never do yellow as their alternate.
This is more of a. This is like a. It's even a different shade of yellow than the Chiefs, though. This is
Chiefs is more gold than this one, I would say.
Like the Chiefs is McDonald's yellow. Like this is it's the Golden Arches. This is
definitely highlighter, Cody.
I know we're accused sometimes of just hating the uniforms to hating uniforms, and sometimes they grow on me. The way the City Connect stuff has really grown on me, and I was like, not is crushing this, but like I was a little more hesitant based on that. This is just ugly. Okay?
Yeah. Well, the best uniform announcement today was from the Bucks, who are going.
Those are fantastic.
Back to the originals, man. Tampa Bay Bucks are going back
Especially
to
with
the creamsicle type jerseys.
Let's go.
Yeah, the original. It's 1976 jersey for the Bucks. It's awesome.
Those
are
new
awesome.
Chargers.
Now you brought up the Chargers. Time is a flat circle, my man. Sometimes it just is.
Some
And
things never change, you know?
not that I want somebody to get hurt, but when we talk about the Chargers, we know they have a track record. Mike Williams is back with the Chargers this year. And guess who is now on the PUP list for the LA Chargers? Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Mike Williams on the PUP
what?
list.
Mike Williams is hurt?
Always, man. Not just
No
him.
way.
The Chargers always have a fairly key piece of their team heading to training camp in the start of the season, ending up on the PUP list or whatever. And so that's the story again with the Chargers.
Honestly, it's like the same. I've never seen a team other than the Steelers who live at least at 9-8, just live the same story every day in perpetuity. Mike Williams in the PUP list. How is he still on your team? Have you ever seen a player this hurt this often remain with the same team? Normally we get into the well, he'll be healthy for us conversation, you know? This would be the thing. You sent me the thing. Mike Williams hurt. I'm like, yeah, okay. I thought he was already hurt. I just assumed. He's like pre-hurt. I just kind of...
On the PUP list. That doesn't mean he can't get removed from the PUP list before the start of the season. That could happen, but...
What did they say he was on the PUP list for? Because I know that he came off the torn ACL was last season, right?
Mike Williams, does it actually say what it is?
I don't know. Just his body.
His body
It's like when I'm hurt. We don't,
Everything. It just says everything, actually. PUP list for everything. I actually don't know the answer to that, Drew. I'm looking. I've tried.
Someone said the Chargers make me feel like I'm living in a simulation.
Time's a flat circle.
Because, again, it never seems any different than the situation they were just in. Here's how the Chargers season will go. They'll win some games because now they have a functional coach. They'll blow 2 games where you're like, what the hell happened there, Chargers? They'll finish as a wild card team, and they'll lose in the first round of the playoffs. That's the Phillip Rivers era Chargers, and that's the era they're currently living. And that entire time, somehow Mike Williams was both hurt for Justin Herbert and hurt for Phillip Rivers, and he'll be hurt for the quarterback after. He's just like, he'll have a different name, but it's the same person. Some player who you're used to being hurt every year will always be hurt for the Chargers forever. Whether it be a doctor putting a needle in someone's lung or some other hamstring injury, they will forever be, or a Bosa, they will forever be the most injured team.
Last year for the Jets, he had 12 catches for $166, and remember he got traded or whatever, or picked up to the Steelers later.
Yeah.
9 catches for $132.
But he's with the Chargers now.
Yep.
Back with the Chargers.
He put out more of an output than Deontay Johnson did
By the
last
way,
year.
this is what we're making fun of here. Was he healthy the entire time he'd gotten traded to the other team?
For the Steelers, yeah, he was fully healthy.
Was he
came back from an ACL tear, I think, for the Jets.
That makes it so much funnier.
7 or 8.
He was a healthy member of the Steelers.
I think so.
He immediately ends up back hurt for the Chargers. They got the worst medical team on the planet.
Because I'm just thinking of the depth chart, like
team
for
full
the
of Dr.
Steelers.
Nicks.
I don't know if he.
Mike Williams last year played, looks like 9 games for the Jets, 9 games for the Steelers. Yeah.
Oh wait, he played a full season. I thought he was coming off of a torn ACL or whatever.
Maybe he was 9 games and 9 games.
Right.
So the only year in which Mike Williams is capable of playing a full season is a year in which he doesn't play for the Chargers. And you're telling me that the second he ends up back with the Chargers,
correct,
he is immediately placed on the PUP list? Come on.
The cloud is hanging over that franchise for sure now. We know that.
They saw him healthy for 1 year and they thought, you know what? We were right all along. Mike Williams is a healthy player, and now we know it. And then immediately gets placed on the PUP list. Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. I don't know how to take some teams. Washington was a team last year that I think people had a hard time with Jaden Daniels with this. Sometimes, man, I'm sure people at the Chiefs, when Patrick Mahomes first got here and Andy Reid first got here, it is so hard with some teams to take them serious if they've been stuck in a stigma for 20 years. The Chargers have been who they are. They are either a bad team or a mediocre team for 25 consecutive years. It's so hard to take them serious when that's been their story. Browns, right? Like, I'm never just... Until the Browns go to the playoffs like 4 years in a row and go to like an NFC title game, I'm never going to believe that they're doing anything. It can stand for like really bad or mediocrity, but like you give me no evidence. I was born in 1984. The Browns have never given me any evidence that they are a capable franchise of not looking like a joke. So, like, I'm just never going to look past it.
Took a while for the Bills to get there. The Bills squashed it
the
finally.
Up until recently, the Lions. I mean, nobody took the Lions
for sure.
Nobody took the Lions
I don't
seriously
think
until
about the Lions that way now.
No, but up until 3 years ago, basically. I guess it's been 3 years since Dan Campbell's arrived.
I finally started quarterback. Did you guys watch it yet?
I only watched one episode.
But the one episode I thought was interesting because of the Jared Goff when he was just like, thought they could handle it a little more adult. When he essentially just said, they called him, said he was cut, and then 30 seconds later was in the news. They said, well, see you later. He's like, they didn't even warn me that they were thinking about getting rid of me. I was like, that's a fair complaint, honestly. Like the organization, seeing how they drafted you number one overall, could do that. He's also an interesting case study of it took way too long for the rest of the league to come back around that Jared Goff does not stink. He's a very good NFL quarterback. And the Lions moved on the Rams moved on just because Sean McVay wanted somebody else, not because he wasn't capable.
It worked out for them.
Yeah, it did. They won a Super Bowl, so they can't complain. But worked out for the Lions too, obviously.
No doubt. Yeah, it's one of those rare things where it actually was a smart move for both organizations and for both players. It turned out to be a better move for each one of them. All right, up next, we'll get to the random question of the day, plus the latest on the stadium front, including some comments from sources around the city about how it's being handled. That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Guys, you know that feeling, constantly feeling tired, no focus, no energy, can't even get off the couch? That's not living. It affects all aspects of your life, and it could be because of low testosterone. Get your life back with testosterone therapy, brought to you by the Low T Center. The test is free, but time is running out. There's never been a better time to find out your T level. Just visit Low T Center to take the test. It's fast. Results are available in about 15 minutes. And right now, the test is still free, but time is running out. Get it now before you miss your chance. And most major insurance is accepted, so treatment costs are minimal. Look, you want to get your health back in control, and with their customized TRT, or testosterone treatment plan, they'll make sure that you're taken care of as an individual and not with some generalized bigger plan where they don't just treat it to you. Tell your friends to get started on TRT, and you'll receive a $250 credit when you get a referral bonus to become new patients as well. So you can help yourself help others after you help yourself. Book an appointment today at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Alex.
Hello.
We've been trying to track you down. I don't know if you've noticed that. Do you have any idea why?
Something to do with the radio thing.
Every month we're doing a giveaway. GiveMeTheVin.com.
Giveaway? What you giving away, man?
$25,000.
Alex Jackson of Pensacola, Florida is the latest winner of Give Me the Vin's Big Cash Giveaway.
Are you for real?
Every time that you sell a car to Give Me the Vin, you go into a drawing for that month. And dude, you won.
That's great, man. I'm having a baby boy in about 3 months. That's a lot of diapers, man.
Name him John Clay.
Okay.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified pre-owned vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months, plus a $200 gas card with purchase. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
When you buy from any of the Balderson Auto Group dealerships, you're getting the support from all of our dealerships.
Like our 100 service bays, collision, and detail centers.
And our free exclusive lifetime warranty. No other auto group gives you that.
From north, central, south, the Balderson Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
Go to bagkc.com.
If you're looking for that new career path, have you thought about IT? Think about IT. It's needed in every single industry, whether it's sports, healthcare, construction, manufacturing, you name it, and Centric can help you get there.
No better time in the city either. The KC Tech Council reported that there were 3,000 jobs added in IT in March alone. 3,000.
We've told you about our friend Russ Mondry and his expertise in this field. Over 16 years at Centric. He's going to help you find that career path. So go to Centric.com.
Baseball season is in full swing, and that means the summer heat is coming. The guys at Climate Control have been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years and know how to get your cooling system ready to handle our scorching hot summer weather. Stay cool and comfortable this summer. Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830 and schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Home title theft. It's on the rise, and it's devastating if it happens to you. Listen to the alarming words of an actual home title thief.
I don't need to know your date of birth and social security number. All I have to do is go to public records, create a document, and file that document. And then I can borrow against the house or sell the house. You may have no clue until you find out that your house has been sold or till several loans or several banks are foreclosing on you.
For pennies a day, Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier of protection around your home's title with 24/7 monitoring. The instant they detect any tampering, you'll get an alert, and that's bad news for home title thieves. So when's the last time you checked on the title to your home? Find out if you're already a victim with your free title scan and complete title report. $100 value free with sign up. Just go to HomeTitleLock.com and sign up in minutes. That's HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payout via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Get one free set of Brake Best brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get one free set of Brake Best brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
We are, 2.5 hours away from the deadline for the Chiefs and Trey Smith to agree to a long-term deal?
Still crickets. Yep. I'll point out the Ian Rappaport cut we played early in the show is the last time I've heard any insider say anything. Schefter hasn't sent out some, here comes the guy. Just nothing. Just crickets.
Let's see. Everybody yesterday, we asked the text line as well to give their predictions. A, does it get done? And B, what time from yesterday?
I said noon.
You said noon today. I said 1. We're both about to be way over here in a second. I got 25 minutes.
You're still alive.
Drew, you said 7:30 this morning.
Yeah, I said this morning, yeah.
I mean, the way it's trending, it feels like it's going to be about a 150 or a 250 kind of thing.
Do you guys want it to happen?
Yeah, it might happen 258.
Do I want it to happen? Yes, I do want it to happen because I think trading Joe Thuney and then not getting done is a mistake. Yes.
I meant, do you want it to happen like 148 today, or would you rather it hit at 206?
Like selfishly, if it's not going to happen before 1:30, I'd rather just hold off till after the show.
The news, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like show planning stuff.
Listeners don't care. That's just Cody and I thinking about the show tomorrow. If it's not going to happen in the next half hour, I'd rather just wait until after the show. Yes.
What was the one that broke? One broke at like 157 once. Like maybe it was Chris Jones.
That was Chris Jones.
It was like
it was a Chris Jones
we were walking, I was like, well, Chris Jones just sent it. I'm like, man, are you serious? Could have done that 2 hours ago.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, if something changes, we will definitely discuss it. But right now, no new update. Trey Smith, Chiefs, deadline 3:00 this afternoon. All right, thinking of deadlines that sometimes matter, sometimes don't. In this case, I guess they don't matter. We're talking about the stadium front. And the latest was an interesting story from Malik Jackson over at Fox 4 and some comments that he received from sources involved in negotiating with the Royals and Chiefs and the city. So I'll just read you a little bit from the story. Multiple sources close to the situation told Fox 4 they're increasingly upset with Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas and Jackson County Executive Frank White, accusing both of failing to lead at a critical moment. And went on to say Fox 4 spoke with 4 well-placed sources, including individuals at the city and state levels, some that are directly involved in negotiations. One source didn't mince words. There's been a complete lack of leadership and vision from the beginning. This is all solvable, but nobody is steering the ship. If the Royals leave Kansas City, that is on Quentin Lucas. That's just one of the quotes that stands out from this story over at Fox 4. And then you were referencing earlier today, you've got, of course, the recall election potentially happening with Frank White as well. Mm-hmm. All this just feels like we're not getting a resolution maybe this year. Maybe not till 2026.
I will say, based on how messy Jackson County leadership has been in this scenario, and I'm not saying the Chiefs and the Royals bear no blame in this. They're planning and the initial vote and all that stuff. We've been very open and honest about how we thought that was handled and how messy we thought the teams handled that rollout as well. But based on what clearly is Frank White running in a bunch of issues in Jackson County, and what I think has been, at this point, more, I'll be honest, lip service than action from Lucas, in which he says they can do things, but those things aren't being done. And I'm sure he would tell you it's the Royals or the Chiefs that are causing the slowdown, and the Royals and the Chiefs would tell you that it's him that's causing the slowdown. It must be harder to move to Kansas than I thought. Part of my takeaway from this is, with all of this dysfunction, and with as long as this process would take, and the fact that it might be into 2026 because of a Clay County vote, or a Jackson County vote, or any of these other things, you'd have just taken the Kansas money and ran by now, as messy I feel like it's been.
Well, it makes sense,
at least
Cody,
on this. I think it's a little more complicated. It's not as easy as just take the Kansas money and go to Kansas.
Well, it's because ultimately the Royals from the very beginning wanted downtown baseball.
Yeah,
and
that's
the
definitely
Chiefs,
part of it.
We've talked about the complicated nature of their situation with the legacy and the family ties to Arrowhead. That's what always was the tricky portion of it. And then, there's some skepticism about the bonds on the Kansas side. There's no perfect situation.
No.
But by the way, I know the article we referenced the quote, and obviously it doesn't look good for Quentin Lucas and the sources that are quoted in that. I will also say
from the Royals.
I have no idea who it's coming from, but I would say in terms of why we're still talking about it on July 15th, and you and I now think we're going to be talking about this into 2026 as well. That's on everybody involved. That is on the mayor. That is on county leaders. That is on state. That's on the Royals. That's on the Chiefs. That's on everybody involved.
They bear this responsibility collectively.
In terms of why this has right now, doesn't even seem any new clarity at all. Like the picture's not clear today than it was a month ago. In fact, we all thought a month ago at this time, like, wow, we're about to get close to an end and a conclusion, and it's the opposite now, actually.
No, it does definitely feel that way, that we've just stepped further and further away. And obviously, I understand construction times and all that. The teams do still technically have enough time to build a stadium, get out. But the Royals' plan was not to get out in 2030 originally, as you remember. The Royals' plan was to be out of Kauffman Stadium by 7 or 8. 27 or 28.
Yeah, they backed off that very quickly.
Oh, yeah. Well, the second the vote failed, they backed off of that. So, they didn't have much of a choice in that. It's so ugly. And I'm not saying these things don't get ugly sometimes, but this has been drug out so far. And honestly, more than anything, and because I'm guilty of being the person who asks. I ask because I want to know, and I think people want to know, and I think listeners want to know. But if I were the Chiefs or the Royals, do not answer any more questions that involve the timeline in which you're going to make a decision.
All right, we got a little update on the Trey Smith front, somewhat of an update. Jordan Schultz just tweeted out moments ago. Jordan Schultz, I'll just read the tweet. Breaking, the Chiefs and Pro Bowl guard Trey Smith are close to finalizing a 4-year extension that will make him the highest paid guard in NFL history. That's the first real report we've had around this. What's key there, Cody, is close to, but also 4-year extension, because we know the Chiefs would prefer a 5-year extension. Trey Smith wants to, hit free agency again or have a chance at a new deal before he's 30. 4-year deal would allow him to do that. So that tells us we don't know the dollar amount or anything but Jordan Schultz, about 2.5 hours before the deadline, just put out that the Chiefs and Trey Smith are close to finalizing a 4-year
Seems like the texts are going out. Rappaport said the same thing, said they are on the final touches of a massive extension to make him the highest paid guard. He's claiming 4-year deal just the same. He's obviously the dumbest trend in breaking news, which is from agents, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But whatever. That's all small enough. But
okay, so it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Well, I feel a little bit better. Yeah.
We're going to be right around. It's by 1 o'clock. We'll have a dollar amount.
Looks like
I think we will
right in between our times.
We're going to get there.
One.
We're going to get there. Look, here.
Actually, you'd asked me a couple weeks ago. I thought it happened by Friday last week.
For sure. I thought this past weekend. We'll get the dollar amount and the years and the guaranteed stuff. I'm sure whether it's Jordan Schultz, Ian Rappaport, Nate Taylor, whoever, that's probably going to trickle out in the next half hour is my guess. But
maybe less, yeah.
Truly, though, we've said it over. This had to get done. It made too much sense to get done. We've gone over it plenty of times. I hate to repeat ourselves, but Trey Smith became a necessity when you traded away Joe Thuney. You felt confident when you trade away Joe Thuney that you were going to be able to keep Trey Smith long term. That was why this had to get done. And it allows you, hopefully now, after today, over the next month and a half or so, maybe to get something done with Trent McDuffie, depending on how the structure is done on this, right? Before it had $23 or whatever $1 million on as a cap hit right now. Maybe they keep a huge cap hit in year one. Maybe they back off of it. I don't know how they're going to structure the deal. We're going to all learn that together. But this was best case scenario. And for those that texted in like, hey, I don't want to pay a guard, the Chiefs made it a necessity once they acted the way they did back on the first day of the league year. With the Thuney trade, with how they navigated the rest of the offseason, with how they drafted, all of that made this deal a necessity. Not to mention, let's also not acknowledge, Trey Smith is a hell of a football player. I understand he plays guard, and that's not the top 5 of my positional hierarchy of importance, okay? But when it comes to that position, especially in about a year or two, when Joe Thuney's out of the league maybe or is not performing at the same level, Trey Smith is going to be the best guard in football within a year or so. Like the best, not just the best. I really believe that.
I think it's really part of the reason why you and I were fine with this deal from the beginning and paying him highest paid guard money. One is you're choosing youth over age. Youth over better play. Thuney's a better player.
Yeah.
Thuney was a better player, has been a better player. He might be a Hall of Famer one day. And at guard, that's saying something because you got to really earn it at that position to go with it. But I cannot emphasize enough fan bases outside, not just this city, because I know offensive line play has been frustrating in this city at times. Specifically tackle play, not interior offensive line, but you get the point. Offensive line play in the NFL is at an all-time low. It is difficult to get good offensive line play. Wasn't a good year for guards in the draft. Was a nothing year for guard in free agency, which is why I still think Trey Smith, and I don't even have the numbers yet, I still think Trey Smith would have cost more and made more had he entered free agency.
Oh, we got the details
instead of where he was. Let's get the numbers.
Don't have the specific year by year, but Adam Schefter just put out 4 years, $92 million, $70 million guaranteed. Highest average annual salary, most guaranteed money ever awarded as a guard. We knew that was going to happen no matter what. But there you go. 4 years, $92 million, 70 guaranteed. I will be curious to find out how is that structured across the first 3 years of the deal. But 70 million guaranteed, that was actually the dollar amount that we were talking with Matt Verderame earlier today. Like that was his estimate on the kind of guaranteed money that we were going to be looking at here.
I do like seeing, good for our guy.
So it's
Nate
done,
Taylor.
man.
I like seeing
It's
the
done.
tweets from Adam Schefter that say ESPN sources tell me and Nate Taylor.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I like seeing that. It's the highest average annual salary for a guard ever, which is not surprising. But $23 million a year, okay.
Yeah,
that feels like the going rate. Is he the highest paid guard in football? Sure, but I'll be honest. Joe Thuney was $17 million a year, and he's not in his mid-20s. So, like when we're talking about, and he wasn't flirting with the idea of free agency. So that number seems fair to me, considering the circumstances. Hell,
92, good for
the
Trey
franchise
Smith, man.
tag was more than that. Oh, dude, I'm so happy for Trey Smith.
I mean,
he's a really nice guy. I know
yeah.
he wanted to be in Kansas City. He's best friends on the team in Creed Humphrey.
Well,
I feel great for him, but yeah, good for Trey Smith for getting $92 million and
goodness.
$70 million guaranteed.
Well, and look, he was a 6th-round pick. Everybody knows the story. Everybody knows the story here in Kansas City. 6th-round pick back in 2021, and the health concerns. It's why he fell all the way to the 6th round. The Chiefs trusted their medical staff, and by the way, I hope they can replicate the same thing here with Josh Simmons, that they trusted their medical staff that they can make this work. I know they're two completely different circumstances, but it's why you maybe have some confidence that the Josh Simmons thing's going to work out. But for Trey Smith, by NFL standards, he hadn't made a ton of money. He hadn't, by NFL standards, okay? And now he's got the highest paid guard in NFL history. That's pretty awesome for him individually. For the Chiefs, yeah, it's a ton of money tied up at guard, but considering your O-line problems and you have a quarterback that is about to turn 30, that you're also going to get a new deal done with, so a $500 million quarterback, you have to protect him. And now you're center in your right guard. You don't worry about it for another 4 years. You're good. Center and right guard, locked in for 4 years. You hope by the time we get to the end of the year, you hope left tackle is handled for another 4+ years before you have to deal with the contract.
You got 3 years there.
And then you're talking about in 2026, maybe Jalen Moore's your right tackle. Maybe you draft somebody else for right tackle. I don't know. But all of a sudden, it looks like you might have an answer at your offensive line. This was a step that was necessary to get there. And again, you needed to do this once you passed on retaining Joe Thuney.
I know he's not at this stage of his health yet because he's still obviously a pretty young, quarterback, all things considered. It becomes more and increasingly important that you protect Patrick Mahomes as he ages. One of the things that is an absolute strength of his is his ability to extend a play. When he can't extend it the same way he could in his 20s, and I don't think that time is yet. Obviously, I saw him do it a bunch of times last year. You're going to want better and better offensive line play. My stance has been forever. Patrick Mahomes is one of the best. He is the best quarterback in the league. I'm not going to say one of. He is the best quarterback in the NFL. But I have yet to see Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL, with one of the top 5 lines in the NFL, which is what I'm trying to get to at some point with him. They've obviously tried with resources. They've had one of the most expensive offensive lines in the NFL for a while. It's not from a lack of effort. But if you take a 6th-round pick and you get it right, and you're telling me you can retain him, do it. Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey together, it works. If you missed it, Trey Smith signed a 4-year, $92 million deal with $70 million guaranteed, according to Adam Schefter, or at the very least are in the final steps of securing that deal, according to Adam Schefter and every other reporter.
It's done.
That deal is done, but Trey Smith's going to be in Kansas City for a while.
Just to compare it to his peers, as you said, he becomes the highest paid guard in NFL history. We already knew that was happening because the tag made him the highest paid guard on a per year basis. 23 for Smith, Landon Dickerson at $21 million. Chris Lindstrom, 20.5. Now, guarantee-wise, Trey Smith, as you said, Adam Schefter mentioning $70 million. Robert Hunt is at $63 million guaranteed. Quentin Nelson, $60 million. So he's getting $7 million more guaranteed than the next closest guard. It's a record-setting deal for a guard in the National Football League.
For again, good reason, I would say, outside of that. I'm glad. I had not wavered that I thought it was going to get done in the sense of that, but I had started to worry, Gold, that there was a hang-up in the deal that I wasn't as sure about. And again, with the cap continuing to go up, it does make sense. The interior is where you run into these problems. You're going to be set at least on that end. And I guess a big part of the question for the pay is, do you think Trey Smith is one of the 5 best guards in football? Right or left? If you lined up every single guard in football, is he in that range? Because if so, then he's worth this money. You don't have to be the best to be paid like the best. Some other guard will get paid next year and get paid higher than you, and you can figure it out from there. I think Trey Smith is right on that fringe, Gold. But I still think there's a lot of ceiling with Trey Smith. And I'll be honest, in watching a lot of people talk about offensive line play, I think the problems we see occasionally come up with Trey Smith at guard are Jawan Taylor's fault. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you listen to people like Mitchell Schwartz and other people who know the game, we undervalue the fact that Trey Smith can only do so much if somebody is screwing up next to him. And I know Creed Humphrey's not screwing up all that often. He's an all-pro and the best center in football. I do think that part of his growth will continue when they secure that spot moving forward. But I'm not looking to get downgraded at offensive line. Getting Trey Smith signed, that's great.
Yeah, we now know that for a majority of Patrick Mahomes' career, he is going to have the same center and right guard.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for that. Obviously, I prefer me saying and left tackle, and I hope that's something we can say in the future that, Josh Simmons is going to be there for a bulk of Mahomes' career. That's the question that remains to be answered, as we operate training camp and ultimately week 1 against the Chargers. But your center and your guard are taken care of for the next 4+ years.
Like, again, I just say that, from the 816, somebody says, am I crazy for saying a third-round guard would have been 75% of Trey Smith? Lots of money for guard. This goes back to, I think people talk about this a lot.
It is a lot of money for a guard. That is true. Yes.
I'm not arguing that. It is clearly a ton of money for guard. But there is the part of me that I never really understand on this is I don't want 75% of Trey Smith. That makes this offensive line significantly worse at no cost. If you could guarantee me 90% of Trey Smith at 75% of the cost, I could probably be talked into it.
The issue is they put themselves in a spot, though, too, Cody, not just with moving on from Tooney, but with the issues that they have clearly had on the offensive line at the tackle spots over the last couple of years. All of a sudden, if you're saying, well, we can take a little bit less at left guard and right guard, and we still are unsure about left tackle, and our right tackle, we agree we might be overpaying now for what we're getting. You can't operate that way. At some point, you need stability on the offensive line for the future, and this takes care of that interior part. You'll see what happens at left guard. Look, if Kingsley is not good as a left guard, if Caliendo, if one of those guys doesn't figure it out this year, then next year you do what the texter's saying. You go spend a 3rd-round pick or 2nd-round pick or whatever on a guard, and you find a left guard at that point in time that's on a rookie deal, and you move forward.
Something has to be cheap.
And it probably is going to end up being, hopefully,
left tackle
and left guard, because you're going to have either a second-year guy at left guard in Kingsley, and soon to be 3rd year if he plays well this year. And then, Josh Simmons hopefully is on a rookie deal for another 4 years, and we're talking about the decision of paying him. That means things turned out very well 4 years from now if we're worrying about paying Josh Simmons.
Well, and by the time you pay him, then you're not paying Trey Smith and you're not paying Creed Humphrey. You're not paying somebody anymore. That's the way these contracts inevitably work themselves out, is that you do kind of cycle through them. But I do. Look, I have questions still. We go through the things of hey, what is your GM good at? Where are their weaknesses? Brett Veach has done nothing but throw resources and money and draft picks at the offensive line. And at no point have I thought this is the league's worst offensive line. But at no point have I thought this is one of the 5 best offensive lines in football. Probably the closest they got to that is back when they had Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, because they had the best right tackle in football, a really, really good free agent signing, and a league average, slightly better than league average left tackle, and some pretty good interior play. My hope is that he's decided to build an offensive line around Creed Humphrey and around Trey Smith, and then he thinks he got Simmons right. Because if you got Simmons right, I do not mind paying the interior guys. If you got Simmons wrong, that's where I do start having an issue where, boy, you're paying a lot to an interior offensive line and you still can't block a damn soul on the edge. Because Jawan Taylor is just a flawed player. Too many penalties, too many mistakes, too many sacks given up. He's not the league's worst right tackle, and I'm not trying to claim that either. But he is an incredibly flawed player, especially for, as you pointed out, Gold, being the highest paid right tackle in football for at least a stretch of time. So I got to worry about that. But just as long as they figured out left tackle, pay Trey Smith. Sure. And again, going back to the whole thing, when they traded Joe Tooney,
this decision was made. This decision was made in March.
They made their own decision in March.
Decision was made in March. If you're just joining us, according to Adam Schefter, the Chiefs and Trey Smith have agreed to a 4-year, $94 million. He updated the tweet. Initially, he said 92. It's $94 million deal that includes $70 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid guard in NFL history. That, according to Schefty and our guy Nate Taylor over at ESPN. Up next, let's talk more about Trey Smith, just where we stack him up in the Chiefs roster right now in terms of importance a little bit. We'll also get back into what we're expecting tonight from the Royals All-Star game front, but let's keep talking Trey Smith next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Cole Reagans, and you're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The new Omaha Steak Store is now open at the Fountains in Overland Park. Stop in to save 50% off store-wide, plus get doorbuster deals. And join us July 26th for prizes, free samples, and the Chiefs cheerleaders with Casey Wolf from 1 till 3 p.m.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is John, and I've been on ED and testosterone treatment at Heartland Men's Health for the past 15 months. I could tell, I was starting to go downhill, and my wife kept telling me, well, you need to go to a clinic that'll specialize in that. And that's what eventually led me into the men's clinic here. Treatment, in my opinion, is a miracle. I was able to perform to an elevated position that, quite honestly, I never thought I'd see again. For my fellow men out there, if you're feeling that you're not up to par, I encourage you, contact Heartland Men's Health, and you will see a dramatic difference.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Headed out for a summer getaway? Make your airport parking a breeze with KC's favorite, Park and Go. All spots are covered so your car stays cool and protected while you're soaking up the sun. Hop on a quick air-conditioned shuttle that picks you up right at your car and drops you off at the terminal. Always the best service, always the best price. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Open 24/7. Fast, easy, and stress-free. Park and Go, family owned and operated, and proud to be part of your summer travel plans.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City is paying cash for your clunkers now. They'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards a new insulated door. $200 for the first garage door and $100 for each additional door. Cash in your old opener and entry door too. It's cash for clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate at overheaddoorkc.com or call 816-221-0072.
New Harley-Davidson Street Glides under $265 a month at Rawhide Harley. Right out for under $265 a month on a new Street Glide at Rawhide Harley-Davidson.
Payments based on Street Glide model and base color with 30% down, 96-month term, 6.99% APR with approved credit. Doesn't include freight, setup, tax, title, and license fees. See dealer for details.
The best moments in life weren't meant to sit in a box, gathering dust in the attic or stuck on outdated tapes. They're meant to be seen, heard, and shared again and again.
Oh, look how little you were.
That's why Legacy Box exists, to help you preserve and relive your family's history. Imagine being able to text a video of your grandparents to your kids, or share a childhood memory with your siblings in seconds.
Wow, I haven't seen this in years.
Legacy Box makes it that easy. Just fill your Legacy Box with all your analog media. Send it to our headquarters in Tennessee, where we digitize everything by hand. And in just a few weeks, we'll send back your originals, digitized, preserved, and stored in the cloud, so you can easily stream, download, and share your memories. Anytime, anywhere. Join the millions of families that have trusted Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value for 50% off. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal. Hey, it's Matt, your Leaf Filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Thursday, August 7th on Fesco and Dusty is Travis Kelce Appreciation Day.
Kelce, no side, he makes the catch and rolls into the end zone off the right shoulder.
Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2. Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you if you're just joining us for the first time today. According to multiple reports now, the Chiefs and Trey Smith have agreed to a 4-year deal. The numbers coming from Nate Taylor and Adam Schefter. 4 years, $94 million deal, $70 million guaranteed. That obviously makes him the highest paid guard in NFL history. They get this thing done before the 3 o'clock deadline this afternoon. Everybody heads to camp next week. Everybody's feeling good. It's a great story, obviously, for Trey Smith. Let's talk about the draft class that Trey Smith came from, because we all know he was a 6th-round pick and the health issues. Think about that class and how many guys have gotten paid and who maybe still is going to get paid. Look at that.
I definitely want to talk about some of the texts you guys are sending in too, but that draft class stands out. So now in 2021, they drafted just 6 players. They have now signed 4 of the 6 to second contracts, which is usually, in my opinion, a pretty good sign that you liked the pick initially. Nick Bolton has signed an extension. Creed Humphrey has signed an extension. Noah Gray got one last year. And now Trey Smith, the 4th member of that draft class, to get a contract extension. The only 2 guys who didn't get a deal, Joshua Kando and Cornell Powell.
Yeah.
Is Powell still, is he floating around
He was
the
on the
practice
team
squad?
last year, yeah.
Maybe he was on the team last year.
I don't know if he's
right.
on the FBI camp. I'm not sure, yeah.
But that really speaks highly of a draft class that set you up. And look, I'm not even pretending oh, wow. Because I think maybe tomorrow we'll talk more about where he ranks amongst the players and all that stuff. But when you start looking at it, Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey, you're talking about your starting linebacker, your starting center, your starting guard, and your, I'd say, backup tight end at this point, but a valuable member of your team who has been a regular player for the squad for the entire time. This one's going to end up standing out as the best draft class.
Oh, well, yeah, and we knew that. We knew that pretty quickly.
Well, the McDuffie Karlaftis one is going to give it a run for its
money. The tricky
money.
thing there, 2 first-round picks, so that's automatically probably going to elevate it anyway.
But it also just depends. Are Brian Cook ever going to get a second contract? Sky Moore's not. Chanel, Williams, Watson, Pacheco. They got plenty of play out of those guys, but are any of them going to be around again?
Yeah.
Because that year, everyone's sticking around. They're all getting deals.
Now, overall money that they have, if you're wondering, the updated, tied up on the offensive line. So we just mentioned now it's a 4-year, $94 million deal, $70 million guaranteed for Trey Smith. We know Creed Humphrey signed that 4-year deal, $72 million with $35 million guaranteed. Jalen Moore, signed a contract, a 2-year deal.
For $30 million?
For $30 million. They can technically get out of it after year one, but 21.2 is guaranteed. Josh Simmons is a rookie, but first-round pick rookie, so you're talking about, $3.6 million a year. It's really nothing in the grand scheme of things, okay? Kingsley maybe is your left guard. He was on a second-round pick rookie deal. $1.3 million is what he's making this year, $5.3 million. So if someone was asking, they got a ton of money tied up on the arm. They definitely do, but if Josh Simmons pans out, it actually will balance out very nicely because your left tackle will be cheap. After
the most
this
expensive position on the line.
Jawan Taylor, I forgot to mention him. Obviously, that's the biggest chunk. He's got a 4-year, $80 million contract, averaging $20 million. After this year, we all think he's gone. So if that Jalen Moore number scares you and he's not playing, he could be your right tackle next year, making only, what would that be? Guaranteed, $12 million or something next year. And so all of a sudden, your money's tied up at center and guard, but you've got a left tackle on a rookie deal and a right tackle making less than $20 million a year.
Look, this is how you keep, and this is why I'll get to the text in just a minute, because I'm a little surprised. Not surprised that some of you think paying guard is not a good idea. That's not surprising.
Oh, in terms of building your roster, there's definitely the question: should you be building it a certain way?
We've talked about this before. Brett Veach has spent some money in some unusual places sometimes.
But I just think this was the path that they were clearly heading down back in March, and with the issues that they have had on the offensive line.
Harold Kuntz did a good job of pointing it out because we were talking about the 2021, but he had mentioned 2022 as well. If you're saying, how do you keep a window open? How do you keep championship stuff alive? This is how you do it. Sometimes you pay your players. But in 2021 and 2022, I'd mentioned 2021, 4 of the 6 guys are on extensions now and still on the roster. As it sits right now, all but one player from a 9-10 person draft is still on the roster from 2022. McDuffie, Karlaftis, Sky Moore. He might not be on the roster long, but he's still on.
Maybe a few weeks left.
Brian Cook, Chanel Williams, Watson, Pacheco, and Johnson are all still currently on the Chiefs roster. The only one who isn't is Darian Kennard. And 5 of the 6 technically of 2021 are still on the roster based on Cornell Powell maybe. Outside of that, you go on a 2-year run like that, you can cover as long as you possibly need to, and you can afford to pay some players because you're still being able to ride out some rookie stuff. Now, you're going to have to keep up that rate somewhere in the case, but this is how you maintain winning windows. Like I saw someone on the text line earlier, Gold, say, well, guess they're not going to get any better. I'm like, get better? They don't need to get better as a franchise. Staying the same is fine.
They get better at area. I mean, they got to get better on the offensive line too. But if you're arguing that they haven't figured out how to construct a winning roster, that would be ridiculous. So while you and I have openly talked about, hey, would I have built my team or paying X amount of dollars at linebacker or guard or whatever necessarily? Maybe not. But the facts are how they have constructed the roster by paying some of the players they have paid at quote-unquote non-premium positions. Nobody's saying guard is a top 5 most important position on the team. But the way they have constructed the team, I would say the results have been pretty damn good. Only the dynasty of our this current era of the National Football League. I would say it's turned out pretty damn well. Doesn't mean that they don't make mistakes. Doesn't mean that at times we would definitely question the decisions. But this idea that you just can't build a team this way. It's gonna bite you. Well, I mean, they've gone to 5 Super Bowls and they've focused on paying some of the non-premium positions along the way, and they've drafted extremely well.
I guess that's really what it comes down to. Is you can't. We actually had this topic at some point last year during the regular season when they were, or maybe after they signed Nick Bolton.
It was after the Nick Bolton signing. Yes,
but fundamentally, I actually don't disagree. I personally, GM Cody Tapp, they plunked me down, and I got to be in charge of the Packers. Probably wouldn't choose to build a team paying center, guard, linebacker, running back, whatever, right? I wouldn't spend a first-round pick on a running. I fundamentally, for the most part, wouldn't go about team building in that way. But I also do not have much of a leg to stand on. If I go in here and be like, you can't build it that way, they've been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls and 3 of them in a row. Can I really sit on this show and claim that you can't build a roster this way? It's idiotic and it'll never work if the team who's actively been building the roster this way already, not just because they signed Trey Smith to a 4-year and $94 million deal, but this has been part of their business practice. It's worked. They have paid top dollar for lower dollar positions. They have let higher dollar, as in wide receiver and some of these others, go because they would cost even more at their position and decided to just draft those instead. And to their point, it's worked. I mean, pretty flawlessly. I understand that, like, it's not perfect. Nobody's doing a better job team building because nobody else has been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls and won 3 of them. So.
Yeah, that's just the reality of it. I mean, that's absolutely the reality. And they will have more tough decisions to make now that the Trey Smith deal is done. It's now the attention will turn to how do you retain Trent McDuffie and start working on a mega deal with him that is going to be $115 million deal.
Who's the highest is J.C. Hornston, whoever the second.
Yeah, $110 million deal. And then you're talking about Karlaftis. There is some tough decisions moving forward. We've talked about like the idea of the next generation of this era, if you will, like the next grouping, right? Because it's been Jones, Mahomes, Kelsey. We're probably 2 years away from it truly being a Mahomes, McDuffie, and tell me who the third face is. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's again going back to positional value. I don't know if a center will be the face, but
he's got a little bit more of a cachet, kind of like Jason Kelsey.
Point being, though, I'm talking about like truly star player, right? We know Mahomes. I think McDuffie eventually will get a long-term deal done with the Chiefs too. I think you do as well. That'll be the one corner that they actually do pay because he's just on a different level than the Sneeds, than the Charvarius Wards of the world. That's what is next. But you needed to get this one done first and foremost to be able to get the other ones done. And it also just sets you up, where you don't have to worry about the interior of your offensive line for a bit.
All right, I can get the number for you. Derek Stingley Jr., he completely reset the market. He's making $5 million more a year than J.C. Horn. So at 30, God, they really, Chiefs, and obviously Trent McDuffie wasn't going to just sign it. To sign it, he didn't have to. Even if they put a deal in front of him. J.C. Horn only makes $25 million a year on average. Derek Stingley makes $30 million a year on average and got $13 million more in total guarantees. So Trent McDuffie's deal will be roughly a $31 million per year, $30.5 million per year.
4 for 125?
Yeah. I mean, was Stingley's only 3?
Or no, not 4 for 125. 4 for
120 would be $30 million a year. 125 is about right.
Yeah,
Drew, that's not actually way off.
Okay.
So like somewhere around there and a little over $90 million guaranteed if they can do it. That's probably about what the number will come in on. And, Trey Smith, again, 4 for 94. It's a high price to pay. But I think part of it is you are willing because the cap keeps going up the way that it's going up. I think these deals feel less risky right now because of where the numbers have been heading.
When you guys are right,
a lot of positions are ballooning.
You guys are right that the ultimate reason, and this goes back to any other conversation that we have about any other team, that the draft is what is allowing them to do this. Because if they weren't drafting well, then they wouldn't be in the position where they're at, where
they'd just be a worse team.
Yeah, exactly. Where I think that's maybe that's the way that they're going. Where it's hard, like what you're saying, Gold. It's hard to you can't knock them for doing this because they've been so successful until it ends up biting them in the butt. But to this point, it hasn't hurt them. Where let's say they don't pay Rasheed or Xavier Worthy, and they got to go through the whole loop-de-loop of drafting the wide receivers and hoping it works out again. Mahomes will be older. If it doesn't pan out, then we'll see. But they've drafted Rice, they drafted Worthy, and those guys are really good. Where right now, it makes sense to pay Trey Smith and to eventually pay Trent McDuffie because what you've done in the draft has allowed you to be able to do this.
We'll keep taking your thoughts, 913-586-7965. Because this is like sometimes where I just disagree, right? It's like 816. I think I'd rather give $23 million to a wide receiver, but hey, that's just me. Look, I can sense the sarcasm a little bit, and I get it. You're saying $23 million to a guard. So first, that would not be the number for any wide receiver available on the market.
No, but you want to know who was making
Terry McLaurin's making $23 million. That's what I was looking up. Same thing.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs. Would you rather have him than? I wouldn't. Would you rather have Stephon Diggs or Trey Smith right now on your team, Gold?
Trey Smith. Stephon Diggs is 31 years old, and
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley also was not very good last season.
Maybe you make an argument for Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman would be the only one making around $23 million I'd be intrigued by. Otherwise, I don't want 32-year-old Devontae Adams at $22 million a year. I'll tell you that.
The only wide receivers who you deem is like, maybe that's one of the better wide receivers in the league are old and making that money, or in Terry McLaurin's case, making that money, but is openly talking about the team today and how mad he is that he's only making that amount of money. DJ Moore makes $27 million a year. Christian Kirk makes $20 million a year. Are you sure that you think Patrick Mahomes would be better served with a maybe decent right guard they took in the draft and doing this? You know what partly actually hurts this conversation? I think Trey Smith himself is hurting this conversation, Gold, because in Chiefs fans' minds, they do what a lot of us do, which is, what do you mean we need to pay $23.5 million to Trey Smith? You can get all-pro caliber right guards in the 6th round. I already saw you do it. But that would be like saying, why draft a first-round quarterback? I can get Brock Purdy in the 7th.
Correct.
That's just not a common.
There's always outliers. We all acknowledge there are outliers to everything. Like, obviously, anytime you talk about anything in any sport, we're talking about baseball or whatever, like, we could all find the outlier, but that's not usually the realistic scenario moving forward. But this is what's fun about the conversation, because everybody would build a team a little differently. The reality is, though, they have the best quarterback in football. They're trying to protect him. They have built a team kind of in this fashion where, they moved on, as we all know, from Tyreek Hill and said, we can get by with having X amount of playmakers making this amount of money at a wide receiver position. The question for them, the pivot is going to be, depending on Rice's and Worthy's progression, is when Kelsey retires, whether that's after this year or not.
Yeah.
Okay, at that point in time, is that when you spend the big money on wide receiver again? And we're going to find out the answer to that, whether it's internal or external. But the way it currently situates, the team that won 15 games last year, that went to the Super Bowl, that won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row before that, they have built their roster in a similar way. I would say it turned out pretty damn well.
Yeah, they seem to be relying on let's get him decent protection and decent weapons, and Patrick Mahomes will do the rest. And to this point, that's been a pretty successful model. They've not had elite-level offensive line, and they haven't had elite-level weapons since the Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill part, which got them 1 Super Bowl, but they've gotten 2 more without. So it's not like one plan worked better than the other. And I can't tell you here that they wouldn't have had 2 more Super Bowls if they had just paid Tyreek Hill instead of some of the other guys. They might still very well be in the same spot, but it didn't go worse. Again, I think a lot of this gets in that mindset of just, you don't need to do this thing because I know that sometimes you can get lucky and find those things. But yeah, I understand, but that's like saying I don't need to take a 2nd-round tight end because Travis Kelce's available in the 3rd. No, he's not. Not often. It's not that he wasn't in that year. He definitely was. But even the things he got dinged for that would have burned him now won't burn him then. You think weed's stopping someone from getting in the 3rd round now? I don't think so. Not likely. And so when we look at these things, I think sometimes it's just hard because you're looking at the number and you're like, whew. But what was it? Maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, right when I got back in town, you and I were talking about one thing that I was trying to adjust to a little bit, which is the numbers for a lot of players have gotten so high. I'm like, what? You're going to pay $40 million a year to TJ Watt? And my brain can't comprehend that is no longer a ridiculous number. At some point in my life, you would have told me paying $35 million a year for a quarterback is insane. And the next guy who gets 65 is not going to make me
that was the whole thing. Way back when in Washington, when Kirk Cousins was signing, with franchise tag, 2 years in a row or whatever it was, and he bet on himself and all that.
Yeah.
The debate there was for $35 million a year, to your point. And now it's it's 55 to 60 million a year. That's just the going rate for positions. I get the point, the text on a few people. So it's split, honestly. It's actually split on the text line.
Yeah, I'd say so.
There's a good chunk of people that love it. There's other people saying, hey, I'm sick of them throwing to Kadarius Toney, MVS, Sky Moore, and Justin Watsons. I want them to go spend money. They did spend capital on wide receiver, Rashee Rice, and they spent money on Hollywood Brown 2 years in a row. Unfortunately, last year he got hurt. So I actually think their resource allocation recently for premium positions has been pretty damn good. The question is going to still be, I think, because of this deal and then Trent McDuffie, the question really is going to be the odd man out. I really right this second, the very, very early July 15th, the 2025 prediction is that George Karlaftis will be the guy that ends up not getting a long-term deal, and he will be somebody that they potentially end up trading down the road.
Mostly just because I think he might get $30 million.
That's a very early right now without seeing what they do with McDuffie. But that would be my guess. That would be the player that I would wonder. If Rice performs very well, if McDuffie gets a deal this year, and Karlaftis is a double-digit sack guy this year, I wonder if that price for Karlaftis gets too high to where that might be the guy that they actually do have to move at some point down the road.
There are very few franchises I would look at and be like, hey, maybe we should do it more the way they're doing, because again, they are a successful team who's continued to do that. But somebody pointed out the Eagles. That's a really good example, honestly. They're paying Jason Kelsey top $1. They pay Lane Johnson top $1. They just gave Jordan Mailata top $1 on the offensive line. You can pay offensive linemen, even at guard. Landon Dickerson is also incredibly highly paid. over there.
Now, the Eagles, I don't remember the exact timeline. For a little bit of that, though, Jalen Hurts was not making – his big number had not kicked in for a majority of that time. I think that just kicked in last year, if I'm not mistaken, the big number.
Versus
so they had a rookie quarterback.
Been...
They had a rookie quarterback deal basically for a bit. We all know that's the cheat code. You got to capitalize while you have a quarterback not making the massive cap hit now. And that's what's been so impressive. What the Chiefs have done though is that they have shown they can win with your quarterback making this money. We haven't seen this is why you're even frustrated if you're in Buffalo. Like you haven't got to a Super Bowl and your quarterback. It's only getting tougher for you now because of the number. Cincinnati, same thing. Baltimore, same thing. It has only gotten tougher. You did not capitalize when the numbers were lower.
This is what I kind of like about the AFC in the situation. Yeah. Everybody's stuck in the same spot of paying their quarterback huge numbers. But one guy's Patrick Mahomes, the other guys aren't.
The young quarterbacks are in the NFC right now that are we think are kind of elite. Jaden Daniels. We'll see what happens with Caleb Williams and JJ McCarthy and these
Hurts,
guys.
I believe deserves
Jalen Hurts, but his number.
He's been to 2 Super Bowls.
No, for sure. I just mean financially. Of course, Jalen Hurts is in that. He has won a ring. I just mean his cap number now becomes more challenging. Fortunately for them, they capitalized on it. Like Jalen Hurts, it's still pretty low this year. $21 million. That's nothing.
Patrick Mahomes is $50 million.
Jalen Hurts' number doesn't go above $40 million until 2027. They actually, the way they structured his deal is not too bad.
No, they didn't. But, the same number still applies. They'll be able to mess around with it for a little. They also have the highest paid running back in the NFL.
Yes,
and while that worked out for them last year, I can promise you that very rarely would I be a general manager who had the highest paid running back in the NFL. I would do that almost never as a general manager. But if you're good at the other parts of the game, if you are good at other parts in the field, you can pay a guard.
Yeah.
They're also
you can pay
ridiculously good at drafting. Like they've drafted all of DeJean, Mitchell, Carter, Sweat. You just run through half the defense, and they've drafted all of them in the last 2 or 3 years.
But I mean, right now, if you look at the Chiefs roster, this is where again I think you do pay your players sometimes. A huge chunk of the Chiefs roster is drafted. Huge.
Yeah.
Chunk.
It's the only way you have the dynasty. That's the only way you have one. You have to draft that well.
I mean, how many guys weren't drafted by them who are regular players for them? I mean, genuinely. Hollywood Brown, I guess. That's a guy. And they didn't draft Harrison Butker. They signed, they traded for him, which was Brett Veach.
Yeah, you're really getting into the Amini Hughes, Drew Tranquils. As far as Jawan Taylor's, as far as regular guys that were not homegrown.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
for the most part, it's drafted.
And that's the only way you aren't just a blip on the radar, and that you are a constant in the league. You have to draft, and that's why the Chiefs have been to 7 straight AFC title games, hosted 6 of them.
I think
won the division 9 years in a row. Yeah.
The only AFC team that I think is in that same boat is probably the Ravens. They haven't been able to beat the Chiefs, of course.
They draft really well.
But it feels like the Ravens are the only other AFC team where they haven't had to go and spend a ridiculous amount of money to get a Kyle Hamilton or some of the guys that they've drafted here, particularly on the defensive side of the ball in Baltimore.
I do think it's interesting, as you said that, the AFC contenders. So Buffalo's about to have to pay a ton of money to James Cook here very soon if they want to keep him happy. They're going to get that done before the year. The Ravens obviously invested a ton in Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry is worth every penny. But it's just kind of, if you look
looking back, the Derrick Henry deal is not so bad.
Yeah, but 2 of the teams that your biggest contenders has spent a huge, or about to, in James Cook case, huge chunk of money on running back. So if we're talking about how people are not happy with how the numbers are being allocated, I wouldn't want to, there's this case, would you want them spending a ton of money on a running back either? I'm just saying, every team we can go through, maybe you don't think the Chiefs should spend as much on right guard. If I'm Buffalo, James Cook, they kind of have to pay him, but would you want your team spending a ton of money on running back? I bet you there's Bills fans that would rather than not spend a ton of money on running back, but they kind of have to because James Cook is that special of a back. In that system, he's that valuable. But most teams wouldn't want to construct their team paying their running back a ton of money either, and now we're coming back around on that idea.
Aren't the Bills getting close to having to pay some defensive guys too?
They just paid Rousseau, didn't they?
Okay.
Wasn't Rousseau? Paid
Rousseau.
Yeah. I don't know who else. I don't know who else is due.
Because their wide receiver room took the hit because they had Diggs, and then as soon as they got rid of Diggs, it's really just been
wide receiver room's pretty cheap right now.
Yeah.
Coleman, Curtis Samuel, Shakir. They did just pay Shakir, but it's not the Garrett Wilson number,
It's like they're paying the O-line and some of the guys on defense.
And then, of course, Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh
There's
Allen.
that guy, too,
Yeah, right.
There's that guy that's going to be making a nice
Should they pay Josh Allen? What do you think?
I'm not sure, man. I'm just not sure.
Actually, trade him to the NFC. Not worth it.
I'm just not sure. No, he signed
Bring
that.
back Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah.
6-year, $330 million deal. His cap hit this year is 36. Then Allen's cap hit bumps all the way up to $56 million after. So that's what I'm saying about the Jalen Hurts deal. And I'm not saying Hurts is as good as Allen, but like it's kind of crazy that the dollar, like the way the Hurts' cap hit is not that problematic.
No, it allows them to pay the guys on defense because they're almost kind of they're not like the Niners in a way because I think Hurts is better than Brock Purdy is, but I think in terms of how they're built in a similar fashion. The wide receivers, of course, are better than what Purdy had, I think, even with Debo. But
Mahomes' contract hurts this year, but I also know that they're going to restructure and some of these cap hits are going to go down. And also, his cap hit's not that bad this year. His cap hit is only $28 million this year.
Yeah.
It's not way above Hurts. It is $78 million next year. 78. So
it's
maybe
a steep incline.
Probably, I got to say, probably want to get that number down, you know? I think they will.
They will.
By signing him to a new contract that will make that cap hit like $30 million or $40 million instead of 78 and 74 over the next 2 years.
Again, if you're just joining us, the Chiefs and Trey Smith reportedly have agreed on a 4-year extension, making him the highest paid guard in NFL history. 4 years, $94 million, $70 million of which are guaranteed. Up next, we'll do a quick little what's trending, talk more about Trey Smith, and also what we're expecting from 4 players tonight.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Let All Weather Decks build your dream deck because of Kansas City's most respected deck builder and a 24-time winner of Angie's List Super Service Award. I went through the process myself. It's super easy. Come out there, take a look at the projects, let them know what type of things you're trying to do. What's your dream outdoor area? Maybe you need repairs. Maybe you need a wood deck, a composite deck, a covered deck, a patio or pergola. All of those things are available over at All Weather Decks. You can see pictures of their great work, phenomenal work, over there on their website as well, their reviews. So you don't have to just take it from me. You can take it from all the people who have had their dream decks built by All Weather Decks. The right deck at the right price. Schedule your free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net.
Hey there, Kansas Lottery here. And we want to get together for a game or two. Meet us at your favorite retailer or wherever you like to buy your tickets, and we can let the games begin. There's a lot of fun and cash on the line. See kslottery.com for details.
The Outlaws are coming. Get ready for the electrifying Show Me Shootout Truck and Tractor Pull Saturday, July 19th at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. 11 elite classes pulling on 2 tracks, featuring diesel pickups and semis battling it out for supremacy. Tickets starting at $20 at the gate. The Show Me Shootout Truck and Tractor Pull, July 19th at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. Gates open at 4 p.m. and the action starts at 7 p.m. Check out Show Me Shootout Warrensburg, Missouri on Facebook for details.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
If you love finding the deal and a bargain brings you bliss, the Hy-Vee 5-day sidewalk sale is cause for celebration. This Wednesday through Sunday, stock up and save big on dozens of pantry staples, like Roma pizzas, 4 for $10, Pepsi 24 packs, $11.99, Frito-Lay's chips, just $1.99, Gatorade 8-pack bottles, just $5.99, and Sunbelt granola bars, 4 for $10. Hurry to the huge 5-day sidewalk sale this week, only at Hy-Vee.
Even though it's summertime, everybody's still busy, and that's where Hy-Vee Market Grill comes in. They've got the best dining value in town. Every day, they've got a meal deal from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And for $8 per person or less, you can treat the whole family to dinner, like smoked chicken Monday, pork chop Tuesday, cheeseburger and fries on Wednesday, and chicken enchiladas on Friday. And don't forget Steak Thursday with a perfectly seasoned steak, garlic mashed potatoes, and sweet corn for $12. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's only at Hy-Vee Market Grill.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. If you're shopping for an engagement ring, we want you to feel like a kid in a candy store. All of our diamonds are in stock, in-store and online, so you get to use your eyes, not your imagination. Come in and look at marquee-shaped diamonds right next to ovals and pears. As your friend and jeweler, you can trust you'll get your dream diamond at an everyday competitive price. We have the widest selection in-store and at shaneco.com, because a friend knows choosing a diamond is personal. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And all it takes is a few clicks. We make buying metal online easy so you can spend less time shopping and more time getting things done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Place an order online today at metalsupermarkets.com.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips, so we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Includes 1 ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
Go Yard all baseball season long with Underdog's Champions Game, one of the leading places to make all your sports selections that you can play in your state. That's right, watching the Derby last night on my couch on the Missouri side, making my selections over at Underdog, and do the same for the game tonight and join the millions of fans who have already won billions making plays at Underdog. Their app have over 100,000 five-star reviews, so you can check it out over there as well. Once your entry feels good, you just go higher or lower. Home runs, strikeouts, total bases, and so much more. Mix and match sports as football's around the corner, and play with as little as $1. Download the Underdog app, sign up with that promo code TAP, T-A-P-P, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See underdogfantasy.com/web/deposit-match-terms. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
Number one on what's trending is the reports from Adam Schefter and others, and Nate Taylor, that the Chiefs and Trey Smith have agreed to a 4-year contract extension, making him the highest paid guard in NFL history. That's 4 years, $94 million, $70 million of which is guaranteed. They get that done before the 3 o'clock deadline today. We've been talking about this for the last 50 minutes or so when the news broke. We will continue to do that. I know The Drive we'll continue to obviously talk about the news of the day as well. And it happens a week before we're up in St. Joe for our first training camp show, which means there's a good chance maybe we get Trey Smith on the show next week.
I hope so. Love to talk to Trey up at camp, generally speaking. Would certainly be happy to talk to him tomorrow as well. Next up, next week. Tomorrow's fine too, honestly, if it's available.
Sure, yeah.
Next up on What's Trending, Home Run Derby champ Cal Raleigh takes it over Junior Caminero in the Home Run Derby last night. Obviously, he put on a show in the final round of it. Barely advanced by micro fractions of an inch, essentially. Got past Brent Rooker in the tie in there, but went on to win every round after that. He was the Derby champ. We'll get the All-Star game tonight. 4 Royals currently on the roster. We'll see how many of them get in. We know Bobby Wood Jr. will. Chris Bubich, Carlo Estevez, and Michael Garcia are not nearly as sure of a thing. I think Bubich is pretty much a lock, but we'll see. We'll see who gets in the game tonight, but the All-Star game tonight over on ESPN.
Yeah, I'll be interested to watch that and see what moments come from that. Remember the automated ball strike system, too?
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'll be
ABS
interested
tonight, yeah.
just to see how do players utilize that. My guess is I think some are just going to use it almost in a funny, in a more humorous way. Somebody might be like, I don't know if it'll be right away, but Paul Skeens throws a clear strike and somebody's purpose no, I'm not sure. I almost wonder if it'll be more of a joking manner that they use it tonight than a true serious manner. Unless late in the game, somebody, at that point in time, they take it up a notch when the game's on the line, even though it's an exhibition game. So next up on What's Trending, Kansas City Current playing tonight against the Corinthians SC. That's the Teal Cup Championship game tonight out at CPKC Stadium, part of the Teal Rising Cup that they've been doing going back to last Saturday night as well.
I mean, obviously a lot of fun out at the park. If you want to head out there, they'll obviously be playing tonight. They don't play, as you mentioned, another regular season game until mid-August.
Yeah, it's international break and everything going on here.
Just because the way the schedule works, but, sometimes that does stuff happen. Next up on What's Trending, Terry McLaurin, currently in contract dispute with the Washington Commanders. It said today that if the deal is not resolute, it's hard to see him stepping foot on the floor. So we'll see, or on the field. We'll see if that takes place. Sorry. Other breaking news. Ian Rappaport says the Jets and all-pro corner Sauce Gardner. This is terrible news. Terrible news for the Chiefs. They did not want him getting signed before Trent McDuffie did. Have agreed to a new extension, which we can talk about here in a minute, making him the highest-paid corner in NFL history. A 4-year, $120.4 million deal, $30.1 million per year. Officially agreed to. We'll get the guarantees momentarily. But Sauce Gardner, the most recent corner to be paid 4-year, $120.4 million deal from the Jets.
Well, Trent McDuffie's agents just celebrated that one. I'll tell you that.
They're getting at least that.
We said that. That's What's Trending. Let's talk about this because we all know the Trey Smith deal needed to get done for a variety of reasons, but also so you could work on a Trent McDuffie deal. And ideally, you would get it done before Sauce Gardner because of the very numbers you just pointed out. 4 years, $120 million, $30 million a year for Sauce. So Trent McDuffie's getting more than that. Now, that's just the reality of the situation.
Even if it's $100,000 more, it's more.
He will get more.
At least
that's the dollar amount that it has to be now. And we'll see if they work on it. But that's great news for Trent McDuffie and his agent. Not the best news for the Chiefs, who likely will be trying to work on a deal for Trent McDuffie. Let me say one final thing on the Trey Smith thing. Like Mahomes sent out a tweet, with clearly the excited emoji or whatever. There's something also to be said, not that you make every decision based on your quarterback, but when you have a face of the franchise, a guy that's going to be a Hall of Famer as your quarterback, that's still not 30 years old yet, making your quarterback, keeping your quarterback, I should say, happy, and also, protecting him, literally, it's good business. Plain and simple. It's good business to do that on top of what we already discussed about Trey Smith.
No, I agree. I mean, I don't doubt in any way that is good business and that it's important to maintain that as good business. I also just don't think it's bad business to pay him $23.5 million a year. On the Trent McDuffie thing, I will say, the market was completely reset this offseason at $25 million. Then it was reset by Derek Stingley, out of control reset. They went from $25 million to $30 million. You almost never see that as a position. So the Jets weren't willing to go way higher than that. They paid him $30.1. They paid him an additional $100,000 per year. So you want me to guess? If Trent McDuffie signed tomorrow, it's probably for $30.2. But the question is now, are you willing to get Trent McDuffie for $120.8? That's what we're talking about. And I don't have the guarantees yet because I haven't seen those reported yet. But with Sauce Gardner getting that number, it doesn't have to be a lot more guarantees. It can be just the same amount. You know how this works. $500,000 more in guarantees.
Depends on what was more important. I'm saying the fact that his deal is very similar to Stingley's, like $100,000 more. It probably was like, hey, instead of 70 or 75, you're getting $90 million in guarantees, or you're getting 85 in guarantees.
90. Let's see. Has it come out yet? Because I don't want to make an assumption yet.
But
I don't want to rule it out.
Agent spin. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you know how this works. But I mean, they're offering him more per money outside of that. And Sauce Gardner is the kind of player who's on par with what Trent McDuffie does in the NFL. I'm just disappointed they didn't get that deal done fast enough.
Well, that was the consequence of not getting the Trey Smith deal done quickly. Yeah. Someone says, serious question here. Do you think McDuffie is better than Sauce? I don't view him on that level when it comes to the contract.
I think they're similar.
Very similar, but also we've all, I think, collectively, our listeners are knowledgeable enough. We've been doing this show long enough. We've been around sports long enough. Everybody has, I would say. You guys know just because you get the highest price deal does not always mean you're the best at that position. It's timing. It's who's reaching the market when they're reaching the market. So whether or not you agree that McDuffie's better than Sauce Gardner or not better or whatever.
Just so you think he's in the range.
If he's in the range, he's going to get paid similar money to Sauce Gardner, if not more. I mean, that's just how it works. It's the example we always give is Derek Carr for 3 months was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL back in like 2016 or 2017. For like 3 months until I think it was Andrew Luck maybe got a deal right after him or something. And nobody ever thought Derek Carr was the best quarterback in football in his career. But for a couple months, he was paid like he was. It just happens.
Here's the problem. I don't know if this is fully guaranteed or total guaranteed.
I think, is this 60
because
million?
Adam Schefter's saying $60 million guaranteed.
Yes.
But Derek Stingley got $90 million in total guarantees, but only $48 in fully guaranteed. So my guess is that he got $60 million fully guaranteed. And he jumped the fully guaranteed number of Derek Stingley by $12 million.
So same structure in length as Garrett Wilson. Remember, the Jets in back-to-back days have handed out a ton of money. But they're also not paying the quarterback anything. It looks like it's fully guaranteed 60.
This is where we need our NFL insider. I need his take on what the
Get Vinny on the line. It's All-Star break. Get him on the line.
Vinny, I need you on the line. You're taking a quick break. You were on the internet for a few minutes last night. You had sent last night, his final tweet last night, 15 hours ago, is, okay, getting off, see you guys during football season. Can I get you during a couple of big Jets deals and a big Chiefs deal during the NFL season?
Yeah.
Please? Feel like you're our NFL insider. You've agreed to these terms. Every once in a while we need this on this. We'll see. I want more details on the $60 million guaranteed because that'll tell you. But I mean, obviously, Sauce Gardner got paid, and now you know almost borderline the exact dollar amount it would take to get done if you wanted to sign Trent McDuffie to a deal tomorrow. $100,000 different here or there, $1 million different maybe in guarantees here or there. But what we're talking about is,
maybe
that is the number. And I guess very simply put, Gold, I'm fine to give Trent McDuffie 4 years and $120 million, and 60 of which are guaranteed. I'm assuming you're fine with that too?
No, Trent McDuffie is someone you don't let walk. He's in a different he's in a different stratosphere than prior corners they have let walk. He's one of those special corners in the league. I take care of Trent McDuffie if I'm the Chiefs. The question will eventually be, as we said earlier, when it comes to taking care of George Karlaftis, I don't know if you'll be able to do that. We'll see.
So, who does this cost you? Maybe we get into that tomorrow. But, this has been a busy day. All of a sudden, Trey Smith, 4 for 94, and Sauce Gardner getting his 4 for 120.
Jets are just throwing out money in the last day. Holy cow.
Honestly, at least they're paying good players. Sauce Gardner's a good player, and Garrett Wilson's a good player.
Young, good players.
They paid a lot of bad players in their history.
Young, good players, and right now they're not paying a quarterback any money. So they're able to do it.
Fields is the guy there, right?
For this year, at least,
conceivably.
If he stinks, they'll just draft a quarterback next year, and they'll have some high-priced good players, so who cares? If you're paying a rookie deal, they'll probably throw more money in free agency if it goes beyond that. This is just a tough time to have to pay Trent McDuffie because it turns out right now, J.C. Horn, Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardner, there's too many really good young corners. Yeah. And so they're all getting paid. And I just kind of hate when you're the team who pays last because they're paying last. All the good young corners have now been paid and you're paying last, which means you have to pay the most. And I understand that a player has one player is going to be paid last. That it always works that way. Like Jamar Chase was the one who got paid last. Yeah. So he got paid the most.
This was also the consequence we said over and over. This was the consequence of the Trey Smith deal not getting done until the deadline.
Yeah. Had they got it done right after the
franchise
franchise
got done 2 months ago, then maybe we're having a different conversation. I don't know. We don't know how far along, what kind of communication the Chiefs have had with McDuffie.
And if McDuffie, there are some, and I'll be honest, I'd read at least one report that suggested McDuffie wasn't exactly in a hurry to sign a long-term extension this year. He might see if anyone else comes off the board by the time it gets around to him because the numbers have just moved.
For the 1-6, so Snead says Snead wasn't worth it, but McDuffie is. He has 2 picks.
Yes.
The picks, I think, are...
L'Jarius Sneed, with all due respect to him, especially now it's been proven...
You can't look at just those.
It's also, I would argue, my case has been proven, the fact that they were concerned about the health of Sneed, and last year his knee blew up on him. That's just, I mean, like, you don't want anybody to get hurt, but the reality is, L'Jarius Sneed, they were really concerned about the health of his knee.
Also,
they didn't want to pay him. Trey McDuffie is a better corner than L'Jarius Sneed. I don't know. Like, go talk to anybody in the NFL, and they will agree with that.
You
I'm sorry.
Like, two sports radio idiots in Kansas
City. That is not just my opinion.
Talk to any NFL evaluator, talk to any general manager, and they will all tell you
For that person who texted in, Sauce Gardner has 3 picks in his entire career. The picks mean if you're a good corner,
picks means they don't throw to you.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have a chance to. Yeah, exactly. You lock down. You are Darrell Revis.
Yeah, sometimes great corners get picks, but they're the ones
Quandre
who
Diggs gets burned as much as he gets a pick.
I already know
for the Cowboys.
I already know what the conversation is going to be. As the summer continues, and eventually, if they sign Trey McDuffie, people are going to say the organization has shown they can develop corners, and that is also a fact. But I think it's very obvious. I think that Trey McDuffie is different than the other names they have developed. Charvarius Ward and L'Jarius Sneed are the two people we'll cite all the time and say, see, they've been able to just funnel in new guys. They have definitely had a nice track record. But Trey McDuffie, who also the difference is he was a top 21 pick in the NFL draft or whatever.
Up for, not a third-round pick and not a sixth-round pick, which is what the other two guys you'd previously mentioned. And again, you can let good players come off your team sometimes. And it's a difficult decision, and it stinks when it happens, and you're like, man, it's a tough one to let him go, and you do have to do it sometimes. Typically, when you get an all-pro caliber, you don't let him go anymore. That conversation stops. Not ever, not all the time. Obviously, Tyreek Hill is not a member of this team anymore. So I'm not trying to tell you that it never takes place or is outside the norm under any circumstance. But I mean, $30.2 million is now my official prediction for what Trent McDuffie will get. And yeah, I'd pay it to him.
Yeah, I would pay McDuffie. I just, fundamentally disagree. Texter says, I'm wrong about Sneed. He shut it down on a bad team. Would have played if him anything. I'm sorry. I just
that doesn't mean he would have been as good.
Firmly disagree. Either. Whether you want to claim the health. One, health is a big part of the reason why the Chiefs moved on from L'Jarius Sneed. He's also just not as good as Trent McDuffie. I mean, just plain and simple. The fact that they're doing load management this offseason for Sneed also tells me that, the knee is not right. So I don't know anybody in the NFL that would agree with you that says L'Jarius Sneed is just as good as Trent McDuffie.
Sneed benefited because Trent McDuffie was so good, more than vice versa.
I don't.
Like, guys,
Sneed was a really good corner for a really long time. Ward has had a really good career.
They're very nice corners.
They're going to be 10-year players in the NFL, probably.
Also, one you can utilize, to Matt Verderame's point, you can use them
everywhere.
Outside, you can use them in the slot, you can use them to blitz, you can do everything with him.
Yeah.
Which makes his value even higher, which is why he's going to get paid the most whenever that is.
This is the beauty of life. We can have varying opinions on players, certainly. I would just tell you, if you're just like, I'm not listening to you two idiots. I watched you play one-on-one basketball one time. You don't have an athletic bone in your body. Good luck. Just talk anybody who covers the NFL. Anybody who covers the NFL.
But there also is like a point in time, though. You're right. Everybody can have an opinion. 100%. That's what's awesome about this thing. I will also say, if you're trying, like what you just said, though, like there's also a point in time where stuff is obvious too, though. I can have an opinion that Justin Fields is just as good as Tom Brady. I would also say you're a complete idiot and you're wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yes, we can have an opinion, but at a certain point, it's very, very obvious who is a better player than somebody else. And I would say this is an example. Trent McDuffie is a better player than L'Jarius Sneed. I think it's a very obvious thing.
And I don't think it's as obvious as Justin Fields to Tom Brady, but I do think it's personally obvious, yes.
And also, in fairness, Cody, to what you're saying about your guys' basketball video, Paul Pierce is a Hall of Famer, and he has some horrifically awful takes. So just the same, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's a reason why about 5 different people at FS1 got laid off yesterday as well. And former athlete. Just because you're a former athlete doesn't mean you're great on TV.
I'm just trying to disarm before we get to that point, because the immediate thing is, look at you, Fatso. No chance there. And you're like, Michael Jordan drafted Kwame Brown. Like, it's not just because you can dunk. Now you know more about it. That's not how it works. Trent McDuffie's a better player.
Yeah,
he is a better player.
So
it doesn't work that way.
All right. What about tonight? Are you guys...
I don't know, man. All-Star game's a real hit or miss one for me. You tell me. Give me a pitch. Sell me on why I should watch the All-Star game, other than I got to watch Bobby Wood Jr. swing the bat once.
One, Paul Skeens is pitching in the game, for starters, and that electric stuff. I mean, just electric stuff. Him and Mizorowski are 2 reasons why I'm excited on the National League side. And then, I want to see if a Royals player is a reason why somebody wins, or can a Royals player be an All-Star MVP? When's the last time a Royals player, has a Royals player ever been in? We've had
Eric Hosmer,
AL MVP in the All-Star game. Was he the?
Salvi?
But in the All-Star game,
I feel like they had an All-Star game MVP.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see that again for a Royals player.
I feel like it was Salvi. Oh man, no,
Eric Hosmer, 2016.
Hosmer. I was like, I was one of those. I just couldn't remember exactly which one.
He homered off former Royals teammate Johnny Cueto, had an RBI single in the game.
Oh man, he was off on Cueto.
So I want to see if a Royals player can have a huge impact on the game today. It'd just be fun if they had an All-Star MVP. What the great story would be if Maikel Garcia had a game-winning hit late in the game and a pinch hit roll. And could you imagine after being an alternate, like the fourth alternate, he hits a game-winning RBI for the American League tonight, and he becomes the All-Star MVP. That's a hell of a story.
Maikel's got the longest odds.
What are Bobby's odds to get MVP?
His are probably pretty good, right? You make one dazzling play and have a homer or an RBI double, you can win it,
Here we go. All-Star game MVP. Shohei, of course, is the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby's 27-1.
Man.
Keep going. Chris Bubich is 200-1.
200-1.
Carlos Estevez is 200-1. Maikel Garcia is 100-1.
100-1?
Mm-hmm.
Feels like a fun little $5
100-1. $5.
All you need to do is essentially get
to win 500. $5 to win 500. Maikel
It's actually
Garcia.
not as crazy as you think. Just get the game-winning RBI, and then they'll probably just hand you the award. So it's not as outside the box as we want to pretend that it is, at least on that end. Somebody has told us over on the text line that Vinny has tweeted about the Sauce Gardner. Not having public feuds with your best players over money is always nice. Now, hopefully, they step up to lead this team to the playoffs at some point. Bravo,
That's
Jets,
a shot.
for getting both these deals done with no public animosity. So,
Public animosity
tells us
is
something
always a
about
bad
Vinny.
thing,
When it's Vinny's contract time, he'd like to do that private.
There you go. A couple other Royals to win All-Star MVP. Bo Jackson, 1989, it looks like. And then Eric Hosmer, of course, as we mentioned in 2016. Royals to win All-Star.
Maikel Garcia tonight.
That's it. I like it.
It must be nice to root for teams that don't have public animosity in contract negotiations.
Yeah, it's called being well run. Although the Jets,
it's already been a good.
You almost just
Jets. I don't know. I'm not sure.
He's saying like
smart
now.
deal,
At least they're doing
new regime, new regime in New York.
Yeah, and they're doing something the right way, which is nice. I will say Maikel already won All-Star Weekend because he got to watch Jazz Chisholm fail horribly last night. So I feel like he's already having a week. I bet his Monday night was fantastic. Just thinking about him failing.
Every single pitch that he popped up or grounded out in or hit a line drive on, just the smile gets wider and wider like the Grinch.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like my heart grew like 10 times because every time he just like weakly grounded out.
I know we're bouncing around kind of all over. There's been a lot going on. I just saw a new tweet from Adam Schefter. I'm kind of confused now because on the Sauce Gardner number. So he put out the $60 million guarantee. Then he just sent out a tweet that says the guarantee on Sauce Gardner's new deal is $85.6 million.
That's total guarantees versus fully guaranteed.
Right. Yeah. That's but he's
got to work on the phrasing of how he does this.
No. Yeah. He's saying the guarantee.
Does he proofread anymore?
He's going to edit this tweet again. He's edited like 5 of these tweets.
He didn't get Trey Smith's number right.
Yeah. He's edited 5 tweets. He's a little off his game today.
Today?
Dang.
So here's the truth. The fully guaranteed number was $48 million for Derek Stingley with $89 million, a little over $89 million total guarantees. So they beat the total guarantees a little bit. They beat the fully guaranteed number by a lot.
That's it.
And the total per year beat by $100,000 per year. Okay. So Trey McDuffie's deal would be 30.2. They're not going to take some big
65
jump.
fully guaranteed, like 5 more fully guaranteed.
It probably wouldn't even be 65. It'd probably be like 61 or 2 based on the jump that he got over Derek.
Just get him to number
30.15, 30.2. I mean, it's going to be.
It's a Sauce Gardner's number. If you're asking yourself, am I willing to pay